what will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch it!
Okay. I know. I thought you said a sentence. Okay. Yep. It's okay. Welcome here. Thank you so much for tuning into the NECC esports stream here. We are bringing you match number 2 of the day between Sac State Green and UC Davis 1 in the Champions Division. We are going to be having some fun here. Vincent is my co-guesser. My name is Orbital, and we will be your broadcasters. Vincent, how you doing, my man?
Oh, I'm feeling good. I am ready to go. We are back up in the Champions Division, man. This is feeling good. And honestly, these two teams, I think it might be a bit spicy up here. We've got UC Davis going 2-0 right now. They did beat out Boise State, but so did Sac State. They beat Boise State, but they're 1-1 on the season as they lost out to Johnson and Wales. So it's honestly a bit of a toss-up, all things considered. We're headed to Bind first. What are you thinking? Who do you think takes this, Orbital?
Well, keep in mind to reiterate, we don't want to say they just beat Boise State. There are 2 Boise States here in the Champions Division. It was Boise State 2. They both beat Boise State 2. Boise State 1, I believe, actually defeated Sac State Green. That is how they got their first loss. So looking to bounce back. Of course, UC Davis tied in first place at 2-0 as well, tied with Florida Atlantic University, and Boise State won as well. So I think, honestly, UC Davis should be coming out of this pretty much with fire under their butts. Again, 2 series wins so far, and we kind of noticed this trend in Champions Division so far. It's been nothing but 2-0s. So whoever takes the first map, I don't want to say that it's going to happen, but so far it seems that the momentum carried over from game number 1 tends to affect the second game as well.
Maybe we break the curse here. Maybe the first 3-map series here for the Champions Division. Who knows? But we are into the Agent Select on Bind. Like I mentioned, our first map. And right now, nobody, I say nobody, 3 players already locked in, but not a lot of lock-ins. There we go. A couple more of those for the UC Davis side.
Agent.
And they're going with, I mean, this is pretty meta. You know, the Cypher here, you could pull a Killjoy, but Cypher is really strong on Bind anyway. And of course, Raze, incredibly strong, especially around that hook area, the short A area, basically anywhere. There's a lot of, you know, small corridors. For the same reason, Raze is good on Split, Raze is good on Bind.
Yeah, and we will have on the defending side, Sac State Green coming out here. Hoping they can make it work with, like you said, the Raze, the Sova as well. We've seen very nice plays coming out. I think we've actually seen Psycho as well pop off with that Hunter's Fury a few times as well. So I'm excited to see what we can have if it's going to be this crazy game. I really want to see it because, I mean, already we've seen some fantastic play throughout today, just from the first few series.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, if there's maybe I'm being a little bit biased here, Orbital, but the last couple times I've seen Bind, I've seen the Sovas pop off. So I kind of am just expecting that we're gonna see maybe Psycho pop off or various pop off. Regardless, either way, I'm excited to get into it as the buy phase is ticking down. Not quite as many frenzies as we were used to a couple weeks ago after that patch, but still. Pretty solid stuff all the way around, mostly classics, though, all things considered, with a plethora of armor.
Yep. Just taking a quick peek into that B area through port and window, of course. They're going to try and tag a few. It's going to be Darius deciding that he wants to take a slight sprint in. That's going to be a nice little pick off as the Sheriff finds C16 right behind us.
Yeah, very nice start, as indeed, as it is just a one-player advantage, though, and that one-player advantage for the defense, despite that spike plant. So there comes the push, curveballs go out both directions, but Slaughter gets the better of the trades, gets a second indeed. Quiz finally trading out, and a second to clean that up, so it just leaves the one player. The Paranoia gets thrown in from the Omen on the opposing side. Brace looking for everything, playing in the dark cover, needs to pick up the frag onto the player defusing that spike, but it's not gonna be. The Omen on Omen action is going to be favoring Quiz. It picks up a triple kill for the first round.
Ooh, Quiz popping off, of course, here. Getting a 3K in the starting rounds, that always bodes fairly well. When you can pick up those early kills and be able to start buying a little bit quicker, that's going to be the Spectre for him. Actually, 4 Spectres, I believe. Kaizen yet to still buy. Looks like he might be saving up a little bit more, even when with the half armor. The light shield's coming out, and there it is. Okay, so 5 Spectre buy coming out against a full econ for the side of UC Davis.
I feel like we've had an evolution here, Orbital, of this second round buy. Like at first, once that stinger change came in, some people were still doing the full stingers, and then slowly but surely there was less and less stingers, and now it's just the full specters all the way around at times. So it's kind of funny. Nonetheless, there's one player here on the site. Well, I say one. There was 2. Rux there. Crossfire is good. Kaizen and Rux double kill apiece.
Rux happy about that setup. It was a very nice pinch right on the bottom side of each site, and they just get a flawless round, kind of to be expected though, of course, against an Econ versus an SMG buy. So very well played. And now third round, let's go ahead, taking a look. Yep, that's going to be the Vandals coming out. Again, fairly standard in any early round part of the game.
Yeah, exactly. You know, those first couple of rounds, the buys going both ways, and then the bonus round, right? And that was a really solid second round, right? Nobody's fallen at all. So the economy is quite strong here for Sac State, as they are in a pretty strong position to try and pick this bonus round up against that full rifle purchase on the other side.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see, because now UC Davis should have the utility that they need, the resources, to start getting those early picks and start showing off why they are 2-0. Off on the side, Smurfsicles and Rux having some fun, grabbing the first frag for their teams respectively, and a couple wash ball at C16, and he uses the alarm bot. It's using a shock dart, kind of missing his target, but again, the clearance coming with some of these utility abilities is starting to put a little doubt in their minds.
Yeah, just sell the information. Brace getting some of that right there. Cover going through, but Quiz wins the gunfight close range with the SMG, very solid, but on the a little bit of an off angle Slaughter. They would have picked up the late trade there as the run it back is utilized. 3-on-3 now as Slaughter just tries to get aggressive, tries to push through. The player Heaven not spotted out though. That's key as he's sent back to his main body. So 3-on-3 now for the retake.
I will be honest, that's probably the fastest run it back that I've seen used in a match. Round 3, of course. Just right off the bat, and I don't know if that might affect the setup because in about 2 rounds you should have the rest of the ultimates up for your team. So not having that run it back is a very strong utility that you can use. You know, it's that extra life that's all you have to use. So using it early, not really getting much out of it does still bode well as the attackers actually come up with the first win. Slaughter just kind of dances and said, you know what, we got the kills, we may have, you know, had a little bit of fun there, and I'll take my death in pure confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that one. I feel like you could have gotten out. Like, but
he was dancing like he was happy about it. So
I know. that's what I'm saying. Like, I like the style points. I give Slaughter credit for the style points, but maybe less credit for the economy game. Nonetheless, there's still plenty of cash for them to buy back in, as well as the other side picking up plenty of rifles, considering they just invested they just had the invested bonus weapons that they carried over from the prior round. So first, this is the first real gun round of the game after the bonus. So I'll be interested to see kind of how the response is for the defense after losing that first bonus round.
And we say full purchase as a judge comes out for C16, so I really like this. You know, full buy, 1,500 creds. That's all we're going to drop. Slaughter, again, finding these kills, already showing that he is one of the stars of the Davis squad, and that's going to be a quick drop. The judge finds it. Psycho drops C16, and that's going to be very grabbing a second kill off to the side. So again, UC Davis for a full clear and braced, saving his teammate right there.
Yeah, very nice job there. Sversigle's nearly caught out, right? But now just Kaizen and Slaughter. That's a nice shot. Absolutely demolishing, putting into the grave that Cypher, making sure nothing's gonna happen. So it's all tied up 2-2 now. And well, it's not looking great for the Sac State side. They've got to go back to the eco, back to the drawing board. But you know what time it is? It's bucket time.
He doesn't he's on the just evil stages and making those all-important highlight reel clips. You know, the leap to shot in the face is probably one of my favorites to watch.
Oh yeah, it's always a good time, right? And well, looking to try to do that in this position, but unfortunately, not going to happen, as there's nobody really giving that opportunity, though. Psycho is able to pick up that Bucky. That's pretty impressive. Now it's just a 3-on-4, though, and there's a lot of range to contend with here on the attacker side.
Not the happiest to sit with. Rux and the rest of the squad is stuck in window, kind of worried about how they're going to attempt this, right? They don't really have the guns to wait on, and that's why they're just kind of pushing up a little bit. Couple shots go off in the air, but a nice fly. Slaughter picks up a 4K. Oh, that was such a beautiful blind on that map. Picks up 4 and is now once again with that run it back. 10 to already double-digit kills. My gosh, this is UC Davis.
Yeah, that's a great start for Slaughter. You know, on the Phoenix, something that you don't necessarily always see, but when you do, I think it's always got great potential for the opener, great potential for apparently the eco rounds as well if you're a Slaughter. So nonetheless, it was an eco, so that means that we gotta have weapons back out. But that run it back you were mentioning, Orbital, it's in. Slaughter going forward, looking for it on the A site, meets one in the middle, but no guns are out. Everybody, they had a little bit of a pause. They're like, okay, wait a second, we'll just put our guns away, and now we go.
that had to feel bad. If he watches that kill cam back, I don't think he's gonna be happy. Slaughter had a full time to have his knife out, realize there was an opponent, swap to the gun, and then fire. Oh, that feels rough. That is gonna be the plant over on a site this time around. And again, everyone's still stuck in the defender's spawn into hallways. This is going to be a dangerous attempt at a retake.
Yeah, and 3 on 5. I mean, this is definitely brutal. All 3 players spotted out. 1, 2 frags going into waving barriers with a very solid couple of frags. As Rux tries to do something, the run it back was invested, but Smurf Sickle says, no thanks, I'll put you back down, as it's another round on the board for UC Davis.
Ooh. And they are making the first 2 rounds look like a fairy tale. Man, just running 4 straight rounds, and now once again, kind of stuck with a rough buy on Sac State Green's side. We do see a couple minor weapons coming out here. No real armor either, so investing in the light armor. Do see full armor, the heavy armor coming out for Kaizen here. But Quiz running with no armor himself, so really rough spot.
I mean, yeah, rough might be a little bit of an understatement. It's certainly not ideal. Just to throw another understatement in there for you. And, well, on the flank now, trying to do something with the showstopper. Comes out from the C16, gets peeked out. No, Darian wins out the fight. Raze on Raze action. And the Raze without the bazooka wins out, picks up the rifle. Now Rux trying to do something, but with 8 bullets in the chamber is going to have to fall back and reload that thing.
And the snipe comes out from Rux. I mean, have you ever been caught with your pants down with a bazooka? That is rough right there. Rux throwing out a little bit of a wall of low-end lava pool. Slaughter decides that's not going to happen, as that is going to be a couple shot darts going out. Kaizen. This is going to be a nice snipe, but that is still the attackers. Nice couple headshots. Ends that round. 5 rounds up. Nothing to fear.
I mean, maybe not the right thing to say here, Orbital, but I'm more interested at how exactly you got into the situation where your pants are down and you have a bazooka. You know what I mean? I just don't know how that happened. But we'll leave that to off stream for the thoughts. Nonetheless,
go to Mythbusters. Go to Mythbusters.
right, exactly. We are back into the rifle rounds after that eco. It was a pretty solid eco, 3 kills and the shutdown on that Raze ultimate. The showstopper gone, done and dusted. Back to the rifles. One player getting aggressive over here towards showers, but that's going to be quickly fallen back. C16 tries to get aggressive. In fact, catches up 1. That Psycho down. Make it 2. Slaughter elsewhere, picking up 1. These 2 duelists for the UC Davis side. Absolutely fragging out of control. It's 2 apiece.
And when C16 has something other than a close-range shotgun, he is putting in the miles. A 3rd right there as well. Beautiful round coming out. And again, just Brace falling there. I think they will take that trade of his life for 5. And man, coming out with the hard shots and the beautiful reads on a few of those rotations. They've shown off why they deserve to be tied for first place right now.
I mean, yeah, this is very clearly. I mean, is it fair to say it's a Slaughter diff? Like, is that unreasonable? I don't know, but Slaughter is just playing out of his mind at the moment. 15-2 right now, and it's back to, you know, the non-ideal weaponry. A nice curveball coming around the corner. Brace through the box, finds Quiz, even though he got away. The curveball comes in on the refrag, though. So Rux wins that fight. Not bad whatsoever. Gets tagged in the process, though. It's still a 4-on-4. Make it a 4-on-3, though, as elsewhere the frag goes the way of the offense.
K-Cam not finding his mark, but Darian grabbing that one. SMG wins over main gun. That is going to be the kill. Now 3-on-3 and a couple little bounces. C16 helps Brace pick up the kill on Rux. Pink available, going to toss it out. That is going to be the spike planted over here in B, and that hard rotate coming out as Raze and Cypher decide what they're going to do.
mean, the difficult part, right, is you have a rifle, a weapon, but it's on Darian, who is relatively low HP, 24 to be precise about it, and you're going up against 3 players. So like, even if you trade effectively, this is just such a difficult retake. All things considered, it's probably more about the damage that you can do here. As taking out onto the site, well, no damage done. Still 3 players standing as Grace cleans up that triple kill. It's been triple kill, quad kill, all the kills going the way of UC Davis the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, and even with the losers bonus coming out here for Sac State, I mean, they are just... I've never seen it this difficult to try and come back in a couple rounds, right? They are just getting spotted left and right, and maybe they're just not comfortable on this defending side of this map, right? But they are looking like they're having a difficult time getting a read on where these attack patterns are. A little bit of an A push here once again. And it's actually a fairly hard run as the running back is available to Slaughter, and he's going to try and pick up a few, but doesn't actually get any information. So a nice little haul off will actually put this in a 5-on-5 retake attempt.
Yeah, I mean, we saw everybody just giving that up. They're terrified of Slaughter for good reason. It's Slaughter takes out Rux in that fight. Darian now starting to trade things back. 4-on-4, the Hunter's Fury not really finding much of anything there as Darian trying to throw that paint shell gets caught out in the open. The information gained though. Slaughter, the curveball, strong. Kaizen is going to be unfortunately blinded up, leaving just 2 players available for the retake. What was 5v5 is now 2-on-4. As this retake for the defense has just been a little bit too slow. Various winning out that fight makes it nigh impossible. Quiz just trying to get out with his life.
Yeah, he is able to very gently sneak his way back into spawn, but 8-2 here with 2 more rounds in the half. I mean, UC Davis showing off here, playing very, very gutsy. I mean, you know, pushing very, very quickly straight off of gates open. You guys are not messing around. They want to end this as quickly as possible.
They want to go home. They want to get some rest. You know what I mean? I mean, not to be fair, they are all at home anyway. But you know what? we're gonna just roll with it. It's a turn of phrase. It's okay, chat. Just crucify.
That's going to be the teleport coming out as Quiz sets up a little bit further behind.
No more charges left.
Positions are always nice, but C16 fighting Kaizen. Rough kill there as that leaves a B completely exposed here. A bit of a lurking though as Rux picks up the revenge kill. Nice little drop. Cool. Team Slaughter is in position. Nice trade once again. Leaves it in a 3-on-3.
Rux and Darian have been so good at these trade frags, but unfortunately it's not been quite enough just yet. It's taken that fight against Mercy. Tags them by a lot, but it's not enough. It does lead to Psycho picking up the frag onto Slaughter, so now it's 2-on-2. And this gets a little bit spicier, a little bit more interesting, Orbital.
Yeah, and take into account that is going to be the last full health member on the side of UC Davis. Cypher living on a hope and a prayer here, about 11 HP, no armor. And with the spike not planted either, he has to get out. They know it's not planted, so they don't have to worry. Comes out through the box, actually tagged. I think he was able to get a simple body shot off, and that's going to be the heal up once again. But still, Smircicle's got to play this to perfection if he wants to survive.
Well, and Psycho's low HP, so Psycho's not peeking.
Yeah, you do. Point away, please.
Yeah. Let me just get straight out of there. So now the peek comes through. Got out, but looks the wrong direction. Psycho, triple kill to close things out. And it's back on the board right there for UC Davis. It took a while, Orbital, but they have returned. Sac State.
Yeah, and I mean, a 3-round buffer is never bad to have. If they can make it 4, that's going to be great heading into the second half. You can see the neural theft actually up for both squads as well, so I'm very excited to see if they're going to utilize that, try and get some extra information, which is going to be entertaining because both teams, it's pretty much having a spectator map at that point, right? So I want to see if they can utilize those, and then you have the Showstopper and Hunter Seer to clear any zone that you want. And on the flip side, you have the From the Shadows coming out for Sac State. So couple different utilities to work with here in the final round of this half.
Well, and look at the cash. I mean, it's definitely not ideal. You're gonna have to pull out a Guardian for Quiz. Kaizen has a Bulldog with life, so it's a little bit frustrating. Hunter's Fury is pulled out, like you were talking about. Those available to Rocks. Nice double kill, in fact. Pulls things through, as now that Showstopper comes through to take Rocks out, and Brace wins the gunfight elsewhere. So it's 2 on 3, and C16 gets aggressive and finds a third.
Oh, nasty shots coming out here as Kaizen returns one more. Headshots galore, you love to see it. And now a 1-on-2 situation. Kaizen really has nothing to lose, so gonna try and make a very slow push. But a little shot goes out, reveals a location. Have to win it and see what happens, but he's caught! Unfortunate check into the other corner. That is gonna be UC Davis grabbing the first half, 9-3.
Yeah, and I mean, just a good double swing, honestly. You're almost never going to win that when both the opponents are in opposing corners and looking opposite directions. So a little bit tough, to be honest, for Kaizen to try and pick up. It's just been a dominant half right there on the, I mean, on the whole, right? You know, we saw a good opener right there for Sac State. They had a good couple of rounds in the beginning, but then everything else just falling UC Davis's way. Mostly though, I mean, it's just Slaughter and C16 really doing incredible work there in the fragging department in general, man.
Yeah. 17-5 from Slaughter, 11-9 from C16. And then Varus as well, doing what he needs to do, 10-4. And Smersicles, I mean, yes, his score line obviously is not the best, but he has given his team so much information to work with and enabled his team to just have a beautiful start. That's going to be the paint cans finding their marks as Rush has to fall back to heal up. And now everyone's starting to rotate over port and window, being where the firefight is starting to go down.
Yeah, we see the flash. Solid there. Big one out. Darian gets spotted by the boom bot. C16 wins that fight afterward. So it's now still a man advantage available for UC Davis. As they rotate out to Sac State, want to move towards A. There's nobody home for the time being, except for the one player sitting in the lamps, and he does pick up one as well. That's massive paranoia. Doesn't quite hit both, but the one player sitting close range. That was Rux. He does find the one. Gonna be able to get a bit of a heal, but it's 2-on-1.
Man, Brace holding it down with a couple of those pistol shots from the classic. I believe just dropping them where they stand, and that's going to enable UC Davis, I believe, to actually come out with that pistol round this time. They lost the first half pistol round, and this time around they're like, nah, we're going to close this out.
I mean, they lost the first half pistol round and then won the half 9-3. That's the kind of game that UC Davis has been having here on Vine, but it is best of 3. Remember, we do have at least one more map to go to regardless, and it's never over till it hits 13. Always possible for the comeback. We do see an investment there on the opposing side. The offense, Sac State, looking to try and get aggressive here, but it's not working out early on. Slaughter picks up that opening duel against Darian, and it's immediately down a player on the attacker side.
Yeah, that was Spectre on Spectre action as well. You know, Kaizen sitting with that Sheriff only, I believe. So losing one of your primary weapons, I say primary here, but losing one of your main weapons here does feel a little bit rough. And now we can see a very slow hold into B short with the spike. So we'll see if UC Davis is able to spot that out. A couple shots go out. I believe that's the Marshal signaling that it is a little bit dangerous to walk through any long court. Oh!
Speaking of dangers, C16 in danger of getting taken out. Quiz wins that out. Here we go. Push onto A is there. Tries to do that case, not connecting. Gonna be coming through Rush. Trying to get aggressive, but that Marshal not quite enough. Now the Aries as well, losing out to Rux and Quiz. They're doing it all together to a piece. As it's just a Smurfsticles, who, you're right, has been doing well with regard to the intelligence gathering operations, but a little bit lower on the frags. We need to pick up 4. That's already 2. Good find another here, close range, but Rux closes out the full house of frags between him and Quizzes. So we finally back on the board here for Sac State.
And man, if Smurfsicles didn't just prove us wrong right there, 2 quick frags. I mean, I have to give him props for that, picking up those 2, and then yes, you unfortunately checked just a little bit rough. But I want to give props to Sac State Green. It is pretty rough to try and force your way into some of those situations, and they literally said, "Hey, you have a Marshall? Cool. You don't do very well when someone's pressuring you." And you could actually see at the Marshall 2 shots completely whiffed. And very nice way to deal with that sort of buy attempt. So very well done by Sac State to pick up that round and start getting themselves back in this game potentially.
Yeah, exactly. That's certainly a round, you know, not only in general that you need, but morally, very much necessary. It gets you mentally back into the game, keeps it reasonable, and so already with the main advantage into this one, the main top frag Slaughter taken down, and Darian gets aggressive onto A.
Yeah, this is another econ round with a shorty on Smurfsicle and a hard rush attempt as well. Very quick plant coming out. See if that holds. Smurfsicle says, yeah, econ round, but still getting the frags. That's all I need. Grabs the Spectre and is going to see what damage he can do as his team like flies around here. Rux grabbing one for himself though.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that shorty is definitely a powerful weapon, but usually only good for one, and needs the close range. Smurfsicles is like, hey guys, you guys want to push me? The entirety of Sac State saying, yeah, no, you can hang out over there. The spike's exploding. You have fun. And indeed, guys are taking him down with the Sheriff, laying down the law, as that's a 5th on the board now for Sac State.
Yeah, and now we're back to that buy round though, right? That was the pistol round. That was the econ that they were having. Now UC Davis, they do what? Okay, so he's leaving it for his buddy, I think. Yeah, you see, I think you see Psycho running back, went to go pick it. I was like, did he actually throw that over the wall? That is some CS:GO level of trollery.
No. I think that no one's gonna pick that up because Sac State want to get rifles. They don't want to give away potentially a bonus round because it's 10-5. They want to not take any chances and just guarantee a full rifle round here. Okay.
No, yeah, okay. That makes a lot more sense. I was like, is he just trolling his team? Did someone ask for a buy? I thought I saw a full buy coming out here. Man, that is some next level shenanigans. But we are in for the 16th round of this game. UC Davis looking to try and get a hold back. They've lost 2 rounds in a row. A third would be devastating for them. Very, very quiet as everyone knows exactly what's on the line.
Exactly. They are ready and waiting, not wanting to. I think Sac State right here, definitely not wanting to give up an early pick, and fair enough, right? You have Rux with this run it back. You want to make sure that Rux is able to try and open up a site with this ultimate, and indeed, it looks like they're going to be heading over towards B. Just the Cypher over there towards A. That's Kaizen trying to make sure that there's no premature rotation. As there's 3 players towards B, though, this is a pretty bad read.
Yeah, that's a little rough. Running back immediately gets caught out, but Quiz says thank you for that. Kaizen Strife finds one on the back end, and Psycho takes out his mirror.
Oh, they don't know! It's 2! That's massive, make it 3! Braced with the big plays. Is able to make it look easy. Now pulls back out, tries to pick it up, but it's not enough. So despite the heroics from Braced, it is going to be Sac State Green with another round as they claw things back. Just 4 rounds to deficit now between these 2 sides.
Yeah, and you saw at the very end there, I think that's the blast pack to shotgun to the face or anything like that. One of these signatures that Raises like to pull out here. Just coming around the corner, you're like, man, I thought you were going to run in. Nah, I'm coming in like an eagle, baby. Picks that one up. 6-10, 4 ultimates up. So from the shadows, lots of movement and showstopper as well. I'm very interested to see if they can use that one to a great extent. And he actually pulls it out. So immediately going for that big maybe 1 to 2 frag, and actually uses it early, doesn't find a single target.
You know, I like that though. You just try to catch someone off guard. This time it didn't work out though. So C6 maybe looking a little bit unfortunate there. And Rux wins that duel out, and the neural theft goes down. So they have the information as the rotation on A is in.
Yeah, obviously they saw everyone over on B side, say cool, only one on the back end of A. So might as well push, get that plant down, and now the retake attempt will be big. Various throwing down a couple shots. Has the Bucky in hand, wants to try and get up close and personal here. As Slaughter uses the Marshall, he says first time didn't work, second time has. Brace, I think, finds his first of the round. So nasty pick coming out, and Rux gets that kill. Oh, hot with the curveball.
That's unfortunate. Bucky working its magic close range. That's Hunter's Fury, though, doing what's necessary. It was awful close, but still 2 players left alive there for the offense. Attack State Green live to stay another round or 4. Nonetheless, I mean, that was way closer than it needed to be, Orbital. A big eco round there. 3 kills in it for the UC Davis side.
Yeah, but now they got to start being worried, right? They are losing rounds by the second. And I said it earlier, right? Sac State maybe just don't play defense very well on this map. Or both teams are just very exceptional on the attacking side. And you have to be ready for these types of situations. You have to understand that this is going to happen. So I was talking about, that 3 or 4 round buffer zone. They haven't really needed it. They have been crushing it from the start here. Right out the gate, they only dropped 1 and has since run 4. So UC Davis have got to start maybe changing up their game plan, maybe sending a few people into different locations. You can actually see it now. I believe 3 on A, 2 on B. It's going to be a very slow movements coming in. Don't want to give away any footsteps here in the early stages of this round.
Certainly don't want to give too much away. Owl Drone is there for some information. The opposing Owl Drone from Various is coming in. What will it spot? Looks like the commitment from Rux just there to try and sell that it's 1 player only. Wonder if that's going to be effective, though, as now the rest of the utility comes out. Sonar Dart is in. Doesn't find anything on site as both the players committed to B are playing elsewhere in Slaughter. Winning out the gunfight against that Cypher on the A side makes things a little bit more difficult now because the rotations can start to come in as the push hits B.
Yeah, and the spike in was taken out, so I don't think they spotted the spike, and now you hear the rotation call coming out. Very well played, but Slaughter might find a couple. 5-1, doesn't get the second, but drops Psycho low, I believe. So, finding a little bit of work as Brace finally takes out the spike holder, and Various cleaning it up here. Can't plant when there are 3 aimed at your head defenders. UC Davis finally getting their second round win of the half.
It was long, but they finally able to pick it up. UC Davis, I mean, 4 rounds in a row lost right there. And back into it realistically is Sac State. They have plenty of cash to buy back in. So we're going to be seeing another gun round this round. But that being said, that looked very solid. I personally not loving how slow we were seeing the play come through from Sac State right there when they were fully committed onto the site. Once it got found out, once the information was found from that Owl Drone, they had to rotate out, and Slaughter already had prime positioning in showers. So unfortunate, but I saw what they were trying. It just didn't really work out very well in that round.
Slightly rough and just hard couple shots coming down this passageway over to the showers. Kind of stuck and maybe just trying to decoy it. As you see, 4 members slowly pushing in through window and port. That's gonna be the showstopper being brought out. Might catch and does! Darian with the showstopper kicks things off here in the 19th round. Shock Dart goes out. Various doesn't take any damage, so hold that one off. He's now gonna have to rotate, give a little bit to take a lot later. See if the streak can happen.
Great utility usage, followed up by the Hunter's Fury. Various winning that one out. Darian goes down as it's now a man advantage here for the defenders. David looking strong as they go through the dark cover. Able to pick that frag up, but it's still a 1-for-1 now only. And that's a nice sonar guard. Both players stuck in the corner, but it doesn't matter. Quiz Wins out the gunfight on the Psycho only, and it's a big victory, as that's going to be another round, just one for UC Davis, as they're sent back to the doldrums of the Eco.
My gosh, Quiz said, nah, we ain't losing this round. And you can see a little bit of the rush, right? You saw a little bit of concern coming out on the UC Davis side. They rushed that push, which, or that attempt at the retake in the defuse, right? Normally, UC Davis, I don't think, makes those kinds of sloppy plays where they leave themselves open to get picked off twice in a row. I definitely feel Quiz was kind of given that opportunity, right? Getting 2 frags right on that spike area. And I'm a little bit worried about UC Davis right now. They might be faltering here at the end of this map.
I mean, it certainly looks as if the dominance that UC Davis is showing in half one is just simply not there at the moment. That doesn't mean they can't turn it back on, but it's certainly been a little bit missing from the second half. And it's now just 3 rounds between the 2 teams, 8-11. The Sac State, they're on the bye and on the way back up as they move towards B.
Quiet as Ruck says, yeah, we're done waiting, run it back, toss out, immediately toss into that smoke area. Location is revealed by the recon. Bolt, it says can't find anyone. Gets snapped a little bit as Slaughter takes out Quiz.
I have the spike.
It's gonna be the spike held by Psycho as he is gonna quickly get it to safety in case they need to make a rotate over to A.
Yeah, but this is
30 seconds left.
rotates orbital. It's 3v5. I mean, when you're rotating in this situation, it's just desperation times, and you're just hoping, all hope that there's nobody home. But well, somebody is home. It's Braced. It's Smurf Signals, but neither of them win out the duel. Now it's just the Marshals, 16 trying to snap through the box. Not to be. Slaughter though on the flank, quick on the trigger, able to pick up the 1 and puts it into a 2-on-3 now. The attacker's in a tough spot.
Attacker's in a tough spot, so Ruck says, cool. Let me grab another Thirsty Shield up. Marshall still in play. Various gets the frag. Couple quick tags onto the body. So far very low to full, and Rux picks up 3. Can he get 4? The defuse keeps going. Fake defuses and a sliver of health coming out right now for Various, and that's just going to be a 4K by Rux, making it look easy here for the clutch.
Listen, you could say that the first half was the Slaughter show. This half has been the Rock show. That quad kill just showing exactly why that is, as I've been counting them down now, and we're down to 2. It's the amount of rounds that UC Davis is currently leading by, and considering the economy, I mean, it is absolutely devastated, looking horrifically bad. Just a couple of SMGs, Bucky. Granted, I mean, the Bucky is in Slaughter's hands, so you never know. But that is a great start. Darian winning out against the opposing Rays, the Rays on Rays duel, looking good for the offense.
Quiet days make for quiet plays. Only 1 kill so far, but a nice push in. Darian finds a 2nd so far, so the leading fragger, the initiator, I should say. Ensure that A site is clear. Slaughter just popping off a few shots, hoping to catch some damage. But again, it's a Bucky. Can't do too much about that.
Certainly makes things a little bit tough, especially at this range that Slaughter's currently at. This is like the right click and pray something happens right there. I mean, because, you know, it can happen, but still not to be. Nice job. Oh, 1 kill. Ooh, that was some nice movement, but what more can you hope for? Could have gotten 1 more, but Darian, a quad kill. So back-to-back quad kills right there. For Sac State, they're making a big statement. They're saying absolutely not UC Davis. We will not fall with ease. We're coming back.
I mean, this is not just saying we won't fall. We're saying, hey, we deserve to be tied with you. If Sac State are able to pull off this series win, they will be tied at 2-1, moving into the 4th week of the Champions Division, and they will have a shot at moving into the top 4 echelon, right? So this is definitely the point where they're saying, hey, we need to start taking over. We need to start showing what we're worth, and this is definitely a way to do it. Taking down one of the 3 teams tied at the top and just proving that they have what it takes. And again, coming back from, I think, only a 3-round hold to now 10 and 11, I would already say is a fantastic job coming in here in the first map of the series. Darren throwing out the alarm bot, which is quickly taken out.
Yeah, the quick dispatch there of the utility. So it does give some information over to Derek. And Kaizen just trying to spam anyone who's trying to play up on top of that box. Nobody's home at the moment, though, so that's not really a big problem. As the owl drone goes out, it's going to spell a little bit more destruction. Rux, not able to win that first gunfight. It makes things a little bit more difficult as the Hunter Fury is committed off the back of that Darien, though wins the follow-up duel. So definitely puts them in prime position. A nice job right there on the shock dart, followed up by the showstopper. Evens things up, back to 3-3.
Man, Darien saying, hey, I want some glory too. Rux having a little hard time keeping up with his top frag right now. He's holding on with about 5 kills difference. That's gonna be Quiz getting dropped, and Darien falls as well. So UC Davis finally finding a round for themselves here. It's been slow going, but it looks like they're gonna give the defuse over the brace. Let him have maybe a little extra cash in his hand. Or no, that was already finished. I'm so sorry. I thought he got off of it early. I was like, what?
Well, it's match point,
man.
but granted, only 2 of them available for UC Davis. It's been a great comeback on the Sac State side, and with the cash, I mean they won 3 in a row there between the 2 rounds that, or rather 3 rounds that were being able to pick up on the UC Davis side. English is difficult, I promise. We move into this round. Oh, how does Kaizen not die? What? What just happened?
On my wire.
Unfortunately, the Raze just has a defective bazooka.
Someone got me the defective armory equipment. Just, oh, dang it. Is going to survive with 9 HP, and that's going to immediately force him back. You can see him now playing lurker defense here, hoping that he can at least lay down a little bit of damage, but the Owl Drone is going to be sent up, down through that B corridor, immediately snapped out of view. We're going to have to wait and see here. Again, this is, I think, a good time to start playing that slow in. You know it's a little problem. This is going to put UC Davis a little bit on edge here. So maybe Sac State can find UC Davis slipping as they make this 5-man push.
It's 3 players here, though. That does make things more difficult. It's going to be the run it back coming through. Rux needing to pick something up, but it's immediately sent back by Brace. Followed up by 1 and a second. Rux does trade. Rux, unfortunately, having to trade his own run it back, makes it for a difficult spot. The Quiz coming up big with 2, in fact, is Kaizen on the flank, able to find 1. So now, that puts Smurfsickles in the 1-on-2 scenario. Makes it hard.
Yeah, but a total of 100 health to probably about 100 health as well. So, you know, in the health department, it's not bad, but that's going to immediately call a full retreat from the site. And I actually like this play from Sac State. I believe they planned it out in a fairly open position. I can't really see just yet. Yeah, just right outside of the box. So they can easily see if anyone's going for it. So Smurfsickles has to take both of them out if he wants to try and get that win.
Oh, Quiz. That's a very nice trade frag. And it is now 11-12. Could it get any closer, Orbital? The answer is absolutely not. As we are looking into the eyes of potential overtime here.
I am waiting with bated breath here. Sac State green coming up huge after faltering 9 rounds in half 1. This would be an immaculate way to bring it back, right? And, you know, really proving that they have what it takes to play with those big dogs too. And there's a reason they're in the Champions Division, right? So this is it. All the marbles here. Pressure is on Sac State, UC Davis. What you two got in the tank?
Well, unfortunately, the armory was a little low on funds, so it's not ideal for the UC Davis side. They do have a couple of shotguns, a couple of SMGs, just one rifle. That is on Slaughter, though. If there's anyone who wants to have that, that's Slaughter. Information gain here, pushing on A. Darian, though, takes out that one rifle and follows it up on his first sickle, so it's an immediate two-player advantage. Absolutely massive. The Hunter's Fury, though, returning the frag. Various winning that one out. It's all down to the 4-on-3 here. Attackers need to pick it up.
Yeah, Judge drops one to Psycho out of this fight. A couple more shotgun shots go out. Picks up the Phantom. 18 health on C16. 3-on-3 here. Raised very, very low. Gets the side though. One more can't do it. Darian gets that 3K, but it's 2-on-2 berries. Dropping it low. It's a 1-on-2 situation. This is all the marbles, and they don't find it. Sac State falter. They were about to tie it up, but UC Davis hang on. They will take map number 1 in a 13-11 nail biter.
Oh my goodness. Devastating victory. Devastating loss for Sac State Green. Oh no. They fought back tooth and nail, Orbital. The entire second half, they were just throwing it all in there, going for it, but it wasn't enough. Barely unable to cross the finish line at the crucial moment with that player advantage. And oh man, that's just got to be rough, man. Going in, I mean, how do you follow up a map like that?
You say you were one step from victory, and it came down to the skill, right? Just taking a look at the score lines, right? Rux and Darian popped off second half. They went from, I think, single-digit kills to 22 and 18, 19 and 20. You know, these guys really kicked it up. Said, hey, we can play with the top dogs, and it was only a 2-round difference, right? They were ready to tie it up, so they can't feel bad about that, right? They ran it back, and now we get to see if they can pull it off here on the second map, and see if they have what it takes. Now, my big question is of course, maybe shore up your attacking or defense, or the weak side of the map that you're playing, right? You got 3 or 4 rounds before. Aim for maybe 6. Aim for an even half, because you know you can play from behind. You already know all that stuff. So give yourself a little bit wider berth, and maybe you can avoid a situation where you are fighting at the very last step to beat your opponent.
Yeah, definitely don't want to have to make that comeback, right? That's the key. You know, certainly was a great comeback. Don't get me wrong. But if you don't have to, you know, if you just have to get like 6 rounds instead of have to fight back, you know, the 7 rounds deficit the first half plus 4 more, you know, then maybe you're in a better position. So we're going to just hold on, take a little bit of a breath, and try and figure out what to do about this matchup, because it was an exciting map 1. We're going to be prepped for map 2, but we need to take a quick little break first. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
And welcome back here after a fantastic map number one that almost saw us go the distance into overtime, but UC Davis clutching it out with that last round win. Again, here going to map number two, Ascent, coming out here. So once again, welcome back to the NECC stream. Big shout outs to all of our sponsors, one of them being Meta Pro Gaming, which is a full service esport management, developmental, and consulting company. So if you are interested in getting maybe an esports coach, college esports management, arena design, or equipment for any of your organizations, go ahead, visit them over at metaprogaming.gg to learn about a little bit more about what they have to offer there. But talking about this now, again, both these squads showing complete domination. Not complete, I would say, but fairly strong contingencies for their attacking strengths.
Oh no. Oh no, Orbital has gone the full distance. You got the full Metroid. Oh no, it's turned into a robot. Are you back finally, Orbital? You here?
I think so. I think so. Am I here?
All right.
Am I here?
Yes, you are here.
All
You
right.
are here. Wonderful. Welcome back, mate.
Very sorry. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more again, though. Maybe I think I might have gone through. I don't know. But asking the question once again, these squads both showed very strong attacking sides. Defense a little bit weak. You know, have to kind of critique them on that, giving up a couple rounds. Very slow on the kind of dealing with all of these changes in the pacings. Do you think we're going to see this happen on Ascent as well, or do you think maybe these teams might have a better handle on the defensive side here?
Well, you know, it's interesting, right? I think that Ascent a little bit more defensive sided than Bind is. So I think by that, at least a little bit more defender objectives working out in their favor. That being said, though, I really do think it comes more down to the teams and the play style than anything else. We just saw some flat out aggression all the way around there from both sides on their attack side. Both of the Phoenixes doing well. That was Slaughter and Rux, pretty much picking up frags left, right, and center, as well as the raises. Making a name for themselves, though I will say I have to be honest. I think that potentially Darian won that duel out against C16. Maybe that's controversial. I don't know. Nonetheless, it was a solid showing from both of these sides, and I think that going into Ascent is going to be slightly more defensive sided, but not by much.
You are just straight out pulling fire. You are just straight up trying. You have the tinderbox just lighting a little bit of fire there. So I love it so much, though. We also saw, I'd really like to point this out because I'm personally a huge fan of it. We saw the Marshal come out a little bit in map 1. Here on Ascent, I think has a few longer quarters. So hopefully get to see some opping coming out. I would love to see that and see what they can pull off. But here we go. Game number 2, map number 2 here on Ascent. I do believe that we do have UC Davis over on the defending side, whereas on attacking, Sac State will try their hand at picking up a few crucial rounds.
I just realized you're absolutely right. We didn't see a single operator in a bind. Not a one, I don't remember. That's incredible. I did not even pick up on that at the time. That's not usual. Something you don't often see. Sure, it's not nearly as good as it is here. Still, yeah, certainly interesting. And well, I think with 2 jets on the board, C16 and Quiz, something we didn't necessarily see last time. More than likely going to be picking that up, that weapon, even though it is very expensive. We are seeing the setup. It's over towards B here for Sac State, as it looks like they're just running it down B, no problem, as they push in. A lot of damage, though, coming through his first sickles, with those nanoswarms doing massive work and taking a frag, so a 1-for-1 trade is already online.
Man, Sac State said we ain't wasting time. We got a chance at Brace. I love Brace so much. He is coming out with some cuts plays, but here with the classic set now, let's just drop 4 straight in your face. Right into the back corner. Be back is going to be the hiding corner. Slaughter coming around the side. One more shot is going to do it. Brace picks up 2. Might get 3. Is he going to get it? Yes, he does. And that is going to be a 3K to start things off with the defuse going to the MVP of the round.
Yeah, and we were talking about Brace, right? How impactful this player was last game, or last map, I should say, and continuing to do that. There, pistol round already looking solid for UC Davis, as we are, honestly, by the way, compositionally, I didn't mention Orbital. I do really like that we are seeing the Breach come out for Rux, something that we don't necessarily always see her in the North American region, but absolutely amazing on this map if used correctly. That being said, the win rate, don't look at it. It doesn't actually tell that story, but I'm gonna keep running with that narrative until I'm told to stop. That's basically how this goes.
Yeah, and I always find it interesting, as much as the meta is such a standard, right? There's reasons literally call the meta, as Quiz just wants to shut me up. Drops 2 with that Spectre, 1 a headshot, 1 a body, I believe. And that's going to be a quick 2-for-1. And on the flip side, we did see the Sova get dropped. Quick rotate over B, and maybe I'll be able to finish my statement later after this round.
Is that the second round in a row that Smurf Signals has picked up a frag with the Nanoswarm? That's 2 rounds, 2 frags, both with Nanoswarms.
Just like, nah, let's just sit in this giant swarm of whatever is here. As Brace is sitting right on the other side of the open, and Darian wins that firefight. You gotta love it. Snap out as Slaughter gets dropped, and Darian finds the back line to pick once again. C16 last one to fall as Sac State go ahead and grab their first round victory.
All right, Orbital. I want to know what your point was. You don't even remember, do you?
I do, because to me it's always I love innovation, right? Again, there's a reason the meta is the meta. It's literally an acronym for like the best played champions, right, or best played agents that have the most impact. But the teams that can always utilize those very rarely played agents, you know, maybe the Viper coming out, maybe that Sky that just somehow it fits in your composition. Those are the teams that you really have to watch out for, because they are the ones that grind for hours, finding that simple little exploit, or that simple very strong combination that maybe you just weren't expecting.
Yeah, it's always interesting. Slaughter coming around that corner got absolutely laid out, so unfortunately goes down. C16 is well tagged, very low, 15 HP to their name. As now it is a man disadvantage for the time being, and honestly, we realistically didn't even mention that it was a round victory for Sac State in the last round, but whatever. You saw the scoreboard. You didn't need us to take you through it. Nonetheless, it's trades back and forth here in this key round. Brace not quite ready for the player on the left side, but winning out the duel seems to be the defense. It's Kaizen left in a 1-on-2. One player tagged down pretty low. In fact, gets that frag. Now with 72 HP. It's the Killjoy versus the opposing Killjoy. And, well, looking to be an interesting duel. Not able to hit the shots, though. This Kaizen strives to Smurf Signals. Wins that out, picking up what is only 2 of the 4 kills that they have with a real weapon.
You know why Smurf Signals won that?
Why?
You know why? He crouched. Whole reason. There was a crouch in there. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I do believe, though, I do like to see that, you know, making sure that you steady your aim as much as possible. And decided against keeping, I believe, the Air Switch. I love how bulky that weapon is. Said, grabs a Vandal and says, cool, let's get back to a standard style of play.
Yeah, and that's just a great response right there, by the way, from UC Davis. Winning out that round in pretty brilliant fashion. And in fact, pulling out one of those operators that we were discussing in the pre-game, the first couple of rounds, right? We hadn't seen very many of those, but C16 on the Jet picking up the first frag and, well, doing a great job of the operator play already here.
Now, with the curveball in hand, that is going to be Slaughter. A little bit slow. Last time we saw him immediately pop up. Psycho actually lining up. I love seeing these cheeky shots of the recon. You gotta love when these Sobas know every single inch of the map just to play the cards.
I'm ready for it. I want to see it this round again. The Nanostorm frag. I've been given it twice. I now need it again. Comes out. Curveball, not on target though. Psycho somehow survives for much longer than would have been reasonable, but there he is with the double kill in return to trade things out. So it's still even across these two sides as the, well, that's an interesting teleport. I'm not quite sure. It was just for information, and information was gained. Two players along the crosswalk, or the sidewalk rather. Variant with a frag, making 2. Not quite enough to pick up the third. Quiz able to shut that down. It was close, but we have returned to a tied game.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the two top fraggers both sitting at 5 apiece. So Quiz embraced the two to kind of watch. And, you know, we were talking about some of the key players that came out. Rux, I believe Rux, Psycho, and Quiz were the top 3 fraggers for the side of Sac State Green in map 1. On the other side, Slaughter was pretty far up there with, I think, C16 and Smurfsicles rounding that one out. So it's kind of crazy to see how these teams each have, even the individual players, have maps that they seem to excel on to a much stronger extent. And Darian just popping that cross courtyard shot. A little bit of nasty aim there.
That was disgusting, man. Just shut him down before even really he had a chance to do much of anything. And so that does give over a main advantage now. And nice catch there as well to bring the utility over towards mid. A shot attempted from the Jet, but that's not going to be there for very long. C16 tagged down heavily. 1 HP, in fact, by the way. Oh, that's devastating. You're just like, man, I should have just died. I have 1 HP. What can I do with this?
Well, we'll see. I mean, C16 has pulled off some nutty stuff. I think map 1 was running around with a judge getting a couple of headshots. And so I will never count this player out, right? Just some crazy plays coming through, and especially anyone that is put on the Jet. I feel the team has high confidence that they can play this agent. They're able to make the plays happen. So I want to see possibly looking for a flank with a quick tag. Oh, yep, never mind. You are correct. I believe that is going to be C16 dropped. Kaizen and Smurfsicles drop people left and right. Various grabbing Kaizen. So the Killjoys taking off the map 1 on 2. And Wiz going to make the play. Does get 1, might get 2. And Omen slow on the rotate. This might be the clutch up that Quiz was looking for.
Oh, spots him out.
Oh,
that's key. Now knows where he's coming from, but tag through the wall, the side of the wall, so key now. 11 HP. That's so brutal. As now it's just a matter of the timing. Quiz. Wrong direction. Trying to get the flick, but not quite there. Brace winning that out, and it is back and forth. The pendulum is swinging, and it is no one really taking control just yet here, Orbital.
Nasty, thrifty round, and that was just a combination of well-timed play coming out of Sac State Green, plus an unfortunate rotation by UC Davis, right? The Omen brace, a little bit rough on there, was trying to make the rotate. If you were there earlier, I think that would have gone a lot smoother. Of course, they did get the round win, I believe, but still, like, you know, very rough, a lot closer than it probably should have been. I feel that Quiz should not have been allowed to set up that well right in the back. But again, very nice round win on an equal, more or less. And now coming out with the big guns, we do see an Odin as well as an Op breaking in with the Vandal.
Well, big guns are there, but that does mean round victory here with devastating economic. Now the push comes in. Brace finds the first. That's well. Oh my God! I mean, I literally blinked. Look at the line of bodies just right there. That's just ridiculous, Orbital. Oh, Various. That was incredible.
The best part was all 3 of the last kills came from Various's Odin. That was the most amazing thing. This is why you run those big guns. You get the big plays.
Yeah,
making the best of just an amazing attempt. And I will say, Sac State coming out with the big attempts, right? That running against what you already know is a nasty gun composition. Very strong attempt, and at least they pushed as a team. That's what I can give them for that round. Still laid out 5 in a row. Not what you like to see as the courtyard comes in with some fire.
Yeah, I mean, you have to give credit for that at the very least. But they do have the rifles back online. So certainly could be plausible. And Kaizen going to be winning out that gunfight against Slaughter. Remember, the big fragger from the last game having a little bit of a slower start this time around. But that's okay. It's not, I mean, to be fair, Various is just popping off as well. So, like, who cares? It's just as if they're taking turns at this point. And well, speaking of taking some turns, it is the turn of the attackers to hit A once more as the ultimate Rolling Thunder Gonna be hitting A as well. Clear out the sight, and there's nobody there.
It's gonna be a quick drop as well. A couple little shots going out, and we now have a B attempt. Defender lockdown. Gonna be dropped as well. As the attack team up is here, I'm not sure if this is where he wants to use it. He is literally time. They're actually gonna throw it down. They are gonna throw it down. Two minutes will be locked. No, they get the lockdown. They got the lockdown so well done, and Psycho and Kaizen are holding this one down. Now in a 4-on-1 positioning. No way Brace makes it out of here. Oh, that was so well played. Sac State Green taking out one of the most important ultimates in this game when it comes to defending a site.
I mean, I don't know how they got it. It was so close. I was honestly like, oh.
3 seconds left. It was 3 seconds left, I believe.
Was it 3 seconds? It felt closer than that, I'm gonna be honest. That was just, I thought it was like, oh, the Hunter, so the Hunter's Fury, right, came out in order to try and get rid of the lockdown. But the problem was that it missed. And so they had to find the lockdown elsewhere. And, well, it worked out nonetheless. Honestly, just a great adjustment right there, not panicking or Sac State. Normally, you know, you have that set play, you're holding the Hunter's Fury for that exact purpose, and you don't get it, and you're like, oh crap, we're just screwed. But no, Sac State kept their head, made sure to make the adjustments, and did exactly what was necessary there to pick up the round.
Yeah, and again, on the UC Davis squad as the operator just takes a little bit of a peek. Ooh, Quiz. Quiz is trying. Quiz wants it. That's gonna be the drop. He gets it. The operator's down. Quiz. Unfortunately, watch C16 just run straight into a wall. I think C16 thought he was gonna get behind the wall instead, but it essentially runs into a barrier. Grabs one as well. That's gonna put everyone into a 4-on-4 situation. The barrier sitting at 30 HP. Not exactly where you want to be.
Oh my goodness, he just read it! He read it like a book! Absolutely wrecked! Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. I love to see that. The Odin through the wall. Easy does it. And it just shuts this push down. Rux has now got to figure out what to do. Picks up one frag. It's even 3-on-3, but it's going to have to be through the spawn. The defense trying to pick something up. Smurfstickles wins out the duel against Darian, who is in the back. Now has to come up big once more. 13 seconds.
Ooh.
This is going to be it. Paranoia. Beautiful play. Finds all three.
He is cold with that stuff, man. He is cold. Mid-round drops the classic on him. Oh, you'll love to see it. And I mean, this match right now, it is so close. This is way closer than in map 1, I feel, in the early stages. 5-3, and yet both teams have output some amazing plays thus far, right? Beautiful job. The lockdown takes have been fantastic from both squads. And I mean, if this map is going to continue this way, I honestly will probably lose my voice at the end of the evening.
I'm feeling the same way. I got another one here after. I can't do that, but oh, Quiz just absolutely stone cold with it. He peeked out just a little bit. It was a shoulder and the tip of the head, and Quiz is like, no, ceiling. It's absolutely demolishing players as they swing out through that smoke, and so it's a lot of map control here available, as well as that man coming in with the shock dart, trying to get some damage done. Just a little bit, but not quite enough as the push comes through onto the A side.
Yeah, and that's going to be a shadow use from the attacking Omen side as well. So Darian trying to reposition, actually floats over to mid catwalk, and that's going to be the Hunter's Fury going out. Smurf finds the pick again, clearing out that bottom bunker area, and Quiz jumping right back down. So able to stay alive, hold on this point, but it's a 3-on-3. Rest of the team trying to scoot over, and he gets it. Quiz, what in the world is the baller play going on? And there comes the Aaron. Oh, Odin coming in to save the day. Various does drop brace, gets Darian, and that's going to be the walk around as Kaizen with the massive flank says thank you for the round.
I mean, my jaw is currently on the floor right now. That flank, it just is so big brain. The long con coming through from Kaizen, you love to see that. And on top of things, I really like how patient we were seeing the offense play right there.
Coming
Sac
back. Out of
State,
charges.
they didn't get too aggressive. They didn't get too far ahead of themselves. They played it passively
my
when
way.
necessary, but obviously taking advantage of the opportunities that were given to them by UC Davis. For example, C16 getting a bit too aggressive towards mid, and just honestly wonderful and really interesting to watch.
With the Blade Storm now, Quiz looking to drop another on C16. He has done so much work, but now sitting on 59 HP and no armor. Gonna make it a little bit more difficult to pull this play off. A little bit of a hold over to A lobby. Looks to be the potential route as a complete push forward. A shot over on the main as well. A little bit close with the turret, and that's gonna call the rotate. You can see multiple members moving through the defenders. Spawn near Quiz, trying to drop that turret as best as possible.
Man, that turret, it feels like it has 1,000,000 health when you just have a pistol, let me tell you. Like, I know it doesn't do that much damage, but it's just painful to deal with. It's just like, you click it like 4 times and it's just not dead, and you're like, come on, man! It's like, if you were a person,
Be a
you'd be
basic
dead.
ability.
Yeah, exactly. But nonetheless, we're back in it. That rotate looking strong, and in fact, Various, the one player on the site, not able to really do much in that swarm grenade, going to be able to push out the one player, and in fact, Slaughter dies for the trouble. Rux heard the information as he ran away. We got that frag. What? There's 2 frags in return. It's 3-on-3 Orbital.
Yeah, health advantage over to Sac State right now, and they have the plant as well. Little bit of positioning straight to the back, and that's the defender Killjoy. Once again, and no ultimates this time to be able to save them. Very nice positioning, and they're just trying to win out. Yeah, they're going to force the push. Couple sprays going through, pushing up on the side of B side, and they find it. Rux finds he found the Mad Lad did it. My gosh, such a save coming in from the breach.
Oh my goodness. I love to see that. Rush. Absolutely brilliant plays. And we are all tied back up. Man, this has certainly been a closer half than our first game. And, oh, it's just been so back and forth, right? Like, nobody really taking more than 2 rounds in a row. And in fact, barely doing that, either of these teams, as they trade back and forth. Only the second time that 2 rounds in a row have been gained here just now, as we are approaching the last couple of the half. It is going to be a save, though, for the side of UC Davis. They are not really going to have enough cash, so they want to make sure they have plenty to buy into the last round of the half, as it's already an advantage game. It's just been clinical stuff here early rounds. The last few for Sac State, they just really have not been giving anything away.
They have not, as they immediately clear out taking out one in the main, one right outside market. That's going to call the rotate. A little bit of a hold as Darian just calls it. Smurfsicles. Like you said, econ round, but the kills don't hurt any less when you are getting dropped that quickly.
Certainly is. You know, you're just like, oh, I don't have anything. And yeah, you got to try to do something with nothing. And right now, it's not quite there. Darian winning out that Various as well. So a really solid econ round, or anti-eco round, I should say. Flawless, in fact, for the Sac State side, as we are into the final round of the half.
They're going back to it. I love seeing that this is actually a standard. Normally you see, like, you know, 5 Vandals coming out, or 5 Vandals and or Vandals and maybe a couple Spectres and all that. No, they just go straight back to the Odin and the Operator as their main I love it. I don't care what anyone says. Various on this Odin in C16 hasn't had 2 great rounds with the Operator. Maybe the 3rd time's a charm. Maybe we can start seeing some nasty snipes that is well known in just about every FPS.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the walls are thin. They're paper over there at B, so that Odin...
Paper mache rocks, that's what we're working with?
I mean, they might as well be, honestly. Over at B, so I mean, that's where that Odin's so powerful, especially when you get the info with the sonar darts. But yeah, a nice and slow opening right now for Sac State. This is the kind of default round that you'd love to see. They're basically saying, they're daring UC Davis. hey guys, you know how you've been peeking, giving us free frags at the beginning? Why don't you continue doing that? But UC Davis, they have definitely made some adjustments. They are playing very passive, not giving anything at all away, and I really like this adjustment from them.
I also like the fact that they're holding the Odin all the way in the back. They don't want to give any information out of the fact of where that spray frame might go, holding very long, and immediately that information goes out. That's going to be a Smurfsicles dropping in some pain. 6-2 frags and UC Davis are up 5-3. Spike is planted, but it doesn't matter now. It's back to 2 members, and that's going to be a quick pick. Smurfsicles having a freaking blast here. That's going to be a quick pull. That is a flawless victory here. Coming out against UC Davis and Vincent, we asked for it, right? It was very close in the first game. This time, it's straight off of the first half, 6-6.
Brilliant stuff coming through from both of these teams. And I have to say, that this half right now, the utility usage from Smurfsicles has been incredible. Like, Smurfsicles, we didn't necessarily talk about a whole lot in the first game. Weren't necessarily getting tons of frags, but was doing their job with the utility on the Cypher. This time, though, not only getting a lot done with that utility, but getting kills with it, getting frags with the rifles as well, leading the scoreboard for the entire team. I mean, absolutely brilliant stuff. I really love to see that. And of course, Killjoy here is very powerful just anyway, but it's really awesome to see the likes of Smurfsicles stepping up in such a big way.
And I want to say, you talk about the lockdown. I want to say he's done that without the lockdowns, right? Both lockdowns that we've seen so far have been knocked out. That's very rare. Usually you see at least 2 members locked down. That's how Killjoys tend to get a couple easy frags. They've done without it. That has to be commended, and it's just like, that's a good chunk of your kit that you don't have. Getting back into this game, a full A push means that the site is planted here on A with a full 5-man as well. Nice little smokes up to the rafters, as that's going to stall the push. Very nice setup here for a little bit of crossfire as the door has been broken, and that's going to be a little bit of damage. Dropping down right on that A-Link, and quick smokes as well. Gonna start pushing out, and that's going to be a shockable kinding underneath the rafters. Such a well-placed buy. That defending Sova. A couple quick picks once again, and Various popping off with that pistol round. Brace picks up 2. As that is going to be the attackers eliminating the defenders.
Yeah, I mean, UC Davis just looking to be in control. Winning the gunfights there in general, but also the utility, honestly, I thought was in Sac State's advantage. Did you see the earthquake come through? The E from the breach. It got 2 people. It stunned 2 people in one quake, and you're like, oh, that's cool. You love to see that. And so in general, lots of great utility usage right there for Sac State, but UC Davis, they were able to win the gunfights anyway.
Catch from name to sight. As they say, we know you're ecoing, but Ice and Rux run a bit of interference, at least dropping 2, so a nice little drop of some important members, but Various with that Bulldog, some gun that we don't normally see. That's going to be the attackers coming out with the victory that we expected, but again, dropping 2 on an eco round, I think they'll be at least somewhat okay with that.
Okay, so fun fact, that breach ability is called a fault line. I couldn't remember it, so I had to go look. It was bothering me, okay? I'm sorry. So if you weren't aware, it's called a fault line. I said earthquake, so I feel like I was close enough. That is where earthquakes happen, on a fault line, so, you know
A geologist might get upset at you, but you know.
Right. You know, but are there any geologists right here? We're going to go with no. I don't know, though. All the geologists in chat are bad. Just tilted.
Alright, so this time, B-side is the push. Main is going to be holding a quick rotate. Take a look, Killjoy running all the way around. So, spot for the flank and a quick 1-1. Psycho gets dropped by Brace. That's going to be the plant coming out of Various this time around. A nice little setup. Health bars also in their advantage. That's the 4-on-3 advantage. It's going to be spawn hold by Darian. Waiting for the rest of the team to collapse, but positioning coming out inside B-side and back, are very, very well coordinated.
Yeah, I mean, with the weaponry online as well for the defense, like it'd be a miracle, honestly, for them to pick this up. Could get one with that. Swinging out is well, okay. Everyone's swinging out, and everyone falls. That makes it easy. Well, that's a very nice start to this half. 3 of those rounds in a row now for the half, and you love to see that, right? Especially if you're a UC Davis fan. You know, picking up the frags were necessary, and so now the rifles get pulled out. An operator online for Quiz, a player we have been seeing all game pull off some amazing work. Now the operator is in hand. What can they do with it?
Pray that the body makes a couple kills, right? So far, the operator has not seen a lot of work done. I think C16 tried to run it as well and just kind of really faltered, right? We just haven't seen these snap kills be as potent as we usually. Even with the Marshall, right? We've seen some of these snipers come out just not the most adept right now. So hopefully pick up 1 or 2 frags, get that all-important man advantage here on the defending side. Because again, you're down about 4 rounds from losing, and so you want to start turning it around. You don't want this to be the runaway that UC Davis gets.
Yeah, and remember, UC Davis already a map ahead in this series. Big victory there. Slaughter winning out on Brooks, who is playing in the corner there. Not really aware. A little bit early on that peak is Slaughter, but Brace wins out the fight elsewhere. So it's still a 2-for-1 trade, all things considered. 4 players available on the defense of this site for the attackers. And that's a little bit of an aggressive teleport. Luckily, nobody taking a look at where that is. So Darian doesn't go down. Smurfsicles, though, on the generator. Wins up that fight. Darian pulling up 2-for-1 trade, but it still just leaves Quiz. Operator in hand, having to get out of here at Various. Looking to get aggressive. Knows where this player is. Doesn't hit the shot, though, as Quiz runs for the hills, but it's not enough. Unable to sneak around the corner. That's a very nice job in recovering the operator of Various.
And, you know, I hate to say it, I asked this question earlier, right before we started map number 2. I was asking, you know, do these teams consistently feel stronger on the attacking side? Do they feel that this is their, you know, their MO? They give up a few on the defending side, and granted, it is somewhat difficult if you're playing against an equally aggressive team. But UC Davis, it doesn't matter what map they're on, their attacking squads feel so clean. Right, it feels like it is just all they practice. Instead of having 2 halves, it's literally just playing like 26 rounds of attack, and that is how clean that they have gotten in Slaughter, dropping a man. Psycho grabbing 1 in return with that Bucky. That's going to be cover being dropped by Darian. Let's see.
You should
that holds steady, but attacker Killjoy being dropped, so can't walk in just yet.
He's gonna make it awkward. Oh! Speaking of which, what is that? Through the dark cover, Psycho goes down. If I'm Psycho, I'm absolutely tilted off the back of that one. And now it's just 2 players alive here for the defense. They didn't have the weaponry, to be fair, at the start of this round, but they certainly don't have the players or the weaponry now. 2 stingers in hand.
That is probably the worst feeling. Literally watching your teammate get into cover and get dropped C16. All right, proving that he just doesn't care. Is he going to get another? No. He cannot, but that's enough time for the Odin to make it work. It looks like they're going to save the top Berry. Having a blast, saving that one in C16. Coming back with this one, I think first half didn't have a great showing on it, of course. This time, popping off a 2K, 2 frags to help secure that round win for his team. They're now 2 rounds away from clearing this 2-0 and keeping the champions kind of style of how to win a series alive.
Yeah, it definitely has been a good turnaround thus far from C16 and UC Davis in general. As I'm on the lookout here for this Rolling Thunder. That's the ultimate, which there's a lot of them on line 7. In fact, as the opening frag does go the way of Sac State. So that is a good start.
Varys got surprised right there. You see him go, what the? Where did that come from?
He's like, whoa, what happened? Yeah.
You ever seen a player literally jump in game? That was it. That's I love that so much.
I do it all the time, man. I hate to do that. I hate to admit. Anyway. I won't expose myself any further than necessary. But as we are into it, it is the players grouping up towards B. But both of these A players who are meant to be holding off the rotates, meant to be selling a fake, they've died. There's still 3 players committed over here, though, so the entirety of B side is open. Brace is at 1 HP. This is so difficult right now. UC Davis are in a tough spot.
Yeah, and Quiz came out and said, bruh, you got an op, I got an op, let's trade it, let's see what happens. And I mean, it worked. That hold, like you said, was fantastic. Now we see a courtyard rotate. Couple little zones going out as the Omen. That is going to be Brace holding on to that spike. It hasn't been spotted yet, so that is a good thing. You haven't seen any pings go out just yet. However, winding down on time. This is getting close. They got to start pushing somewhere.
Rolling Thunder could come out to deny the entirety of this one. So low on time.
Oh,
Kaizen! It's 4-5! The ace for Kaizen on the round. Incredible. That was the slowest burning ace I've ever seen, but absolutely wonderful. Finds the opening pick, then 30 seconds later gets a second, and then closes 1, 2, and 3 out on the last minute site push. Beautiful stuff from Kaizen.
Welcome to the 7-Eleven. How can I help you right there? That was just a culmination of unfortunate timing, right? Winding down to the very last seconds, forces them to punch through that A link, and Kaizen was ready. Just mows them down where they stand. Such a well done job. And now we're seeing some nasty pushes here. Yeah, that was actually a very fast push. You saw Quiz just run and gets dropped. Blade Storm, baby. Dropping him in.
Nice job from Rock to spin back and runs back. Now that spike gets planted, though. There is the Rolling Thunder that I was talking about, though. That could be the key here to opening this this back up for the defense. They are a player down. There's no fakes, dude. There's no retake coming here.
Oh, bunny hopping the way to victory, except this is jet hopping here. You saw him bounce his way all the way through, I believe. Oh my gosh, so well done. And that's actually gonna be it. You were talking about the Rolling Thunder, I believe. Power play through that site, and now dropping a few holds as the attacker just cleaned up. C16 doesn't have the Blade Storm anymore, but gets a nice little frag with the classic. That's gonna put UC Davis in winning position, 12-7 here. As Sac State Green gotta come up with something they want to stay in this game.
Yeah, I will say I'm a little bit miffed right now, Orbital. So they did commit both the Rolling Thunder and the lockdown, right, on the Sac State side, but they committed it so very late on the retake. It just is a little bit weird, and so because of that, honestly, I think it caught off guard a lot of the players for UC Davis, but it just didn't work out. But oh, that's beautiful. Quiz saying, listen, man, we might not have won that last round, but I'm definitely giving us a chance to pick this one up.
He wants to make that highlight reel for the week, right? Just like, look, bro, I will get my frags one way or another. I don't care if that's attached with an L on my name for this series. I will get it, and that's going to be a very nice tag, a little bit of a frazzled member. But this time, UC Davis having some tough times over here. B Lobby and Main being their graveyard.
Methodical. That certainly isn't. Quiz coming around the corner, taking off the head of C16 operator, taken out. So 2 players in the advantage here. As Quiz maybe saying, listen, I've seen there was a nice little ace from Kaizen. I want an ace too. Give it to me.
Not with the op this time, though. With that Vandal, I mean, if this was an op ace, I would lose my mind. That would be disgusting to watch happen. I've used that word so many times now, and I know it's getting redundant, but that's all Derry. Quiz is like, bro, that was my kill. That was mine.
I have my name on it.
Mercicles, though, finding out that 8 is a little bit exposed, still has the spike. So in all that chaos, finally gets the plan down with only a couple seconds to spare. Very nice job by Smurf, and now it is a 1-on-3 situation. Gotta pull out the 4A. Wants to get that win. Can't do it. Quiz instead finds the 4. It's gonna get that defuse.
Very nice round indeed for Quiz. As well, I think Quiz should just take that. Has one away from the Blade Storm. I think they might be waiting to get an operator. That's gotta be what it is.
Yeah. I like that call. Pick up that op. I think that'll probably go to Quiz again. And actually, Daniel might pick up. Oh, is he? They were contemplating it. You can see he's like, bruh, just do it. Just do it.
He was asking the teammate. He's like, hey, so you want this Odin? He's like, yeah, no. It's fine. Yeah, he was thinking about it though. Definitely looking to get a little spicy there. Nonetheless, it is a couple of rounds now fought back, but it's still got to have to be 4 more in a row. Backs against the wall here, Sac State. They are up against not only map point, but match point here. UC Davis up 1 already in this series.
Yeah, now that you have a defending Killjoy lockdown available, right, along with Hunter Series, this could signal big trouble if they are not careful. That's going to be the lockdown being dropped. They're trying to hold over on this B, and they are pushing. They want to see this happen. Everyone waiting outside. Remember, they have a little bit of time to work with. Curveball ready in hand. This is going to be a firefight to remember. Plant is down. Seconds ticking away.
5 on 5. That the entirety really of that site given up for free. Now it's both sides looking to try and trade out some of this util, get information, but all 5 players sitting ready and waiting here on the site. The information gets through, frags it away. Kaizen with 2, but it's back and forth. Kaizen though winning it out against C16, who couldn't pick up the triple kill. That's 9/18 Kaizen's name to bring us to a 9th round, and oh, that is so close.
I am honestly so impressed with Sac State Green. And I am saying that from the bottom of my heart this time. Twice in this series, they have been down multiple rounds. They've been on that side where they are looking at a loss in the face. And yet both times they have been fighting back. This time, they feel like they have the momentum, right? That was ultimates against ultimates. Normally, it's very difficult to win those. And they come out with 9 HP. Sac State Green, no matter what, even if they fall to here, they fall to 1 and 2, right? They fall into the lower side of the league or the standing. I will always have great respect for them for how well they have fought here in this series against one of the teams tied for first place. Honestly, so much respect.
Joke's over.
Missing close all the way around. Looks to continue. Running back comes through from Slaughter. Sent back immediately though. Oh, that's so unfortunate. 16 checks the corner, but doesn't get the frag. So Darian wins that one out, and Kaizen gonna be winning that on the other side. Means that we're now at a man advantage. Slaughter trying to peek out, and does just that. Whiz falling down. Does he know that there could be another player here? Doesn't check the generator, but nobody's home. So it's 3 on 3 here now. It's gonna have to be another perfect retake if we want to see Sac State continue.
Remember, the lockdown is available. This is going to be so good if they can find a good plant location. Spike is down, like you stated, but still, they have a huge ultimate advantage. As Mercicles finds Psycho now, 2 on 3. A little bit dangerous here. A little bit of health advantage over as well as the open on Sac State is a little bit rough, and Kaizen following now. Darian, last one alive, finds 1. 30 HP in a dream right now. Time is ticking. This is going to be a bit rough. Oh, good attack. They know where he is. He just runs in. Merciful. Gonna find the last kill, and that is going to be UC Davis taking the series 2-0.
13-9, 13-11. I mean, listen, there is not many more rounds you could have had there, pretty much making it as close as it could have been. By the way, Kaizen topping out the average combat score, tying up with Smurfsicles. So I mentioned both of those Killjoys a lot. doing massive work with their utility, doing massive work with the frags. We saw the ace as well from guys. I mean, oh, so much to talk about, but just both of those players picking up the pace, doing incredible work all the way around Orbital. And honestly, I don't know who I would even give an MVP to. I mean, it's so hard.
Across 2 games, we've had so many amazing players, and again, this is why they're in champions, right? This is why this league is so much fun to watch. It's why you always can't count someone out, and I want to continue seeing this league unfold and just watch how they utilize some of these different strats, right? We saw very different than your 5 Vandals that you normally see on any attacking round. We saw the Odin come out to great effect. We saw the Operator come out to great effect, and even a little bit of a Spectre run in that main gun lineup. So both these squads playing to a T. Big shout outs to Slaughter falling a little bit in the leaderboard here, but in game number 1 came out with a massive 26, 17, and 5 scoreline. But like you said, very, very difficult to pick a single MVP out. However, with that will be this series. Congratulations to UC Davis 1 for moving up to 3-0. Sac State Green will have to start finding their way back at 1-2. With that, though, we will go and give you guys a quick short intermission to go ahead and grab any stacks that you would like, as we have one more series after this you will want to tune in. So thank you so much for tuning in for this match, and continue hanging out.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
Hello and welcome back to the final series of the day. Week 3 is almost over. I am now joined by Jag, as we've said goodbye to Orbital. Jag, how's it going, mate? You ready to come back? I know you started out the day, and now you're coming back.
Actually, unfortunately, I did not get to cast earlier today because of that first series that was so epic and went on for so long. We had to cancel the second game as we played off stream, but I am here now. Season 0 for NECC, and like you said, we're going to have a great match. It's going to be Boise State 2 versus California State University Dominguez Hills, and neither of these teams are coming in with a perfect record. In fact, Boise State 2 hasn't even won a game so far, so they're going to be really needing to win this one to get back into this season.
Yeah, and this is as well champions division as well. So keep in mind that despite the fact that these two teams not having the greatest of starts here, at least not in the first 2 weeks, that's okay. Still very strong rosters at the very least on paper, and definitely been showing some good stuff overall. That being said, who are you thinking has the advantage here? Because honestly, I'm doing the math, the trigonometry, and I don't know if I can add it up, to be honest.
I mean, I got to see Boise State 2 last week in that last game as well on the stream last time, and they played it really close against Sacramento State 1 for a bit. They went to overtime on Icebox, and then they got to Ascent that second map, and things did not go in their favor. I haven't had a chance to see Dominguez Hills yet, but from Coach Jim, I've heard very good things about them in the past, and there are some players I've actually recognized from some other tournaments, some tier 2, tier 1 stuff, so I think that they might have some superior firepower, and I gotta say, I think my bet goes to them so far, but Boise State 2, I mean, the fact that they have 2 different teams in the Champions Division, I believe, is very impressive. So the fact that, they got 2 teams that can play at the highest level, we'll see if they can bring it out here, but Dominguez Hills, they're going to get my vote.
Dominguez Hills, interesting. Honestly, I think that you've convinced me. I think that makes the most sense as we are into the agent select, and that's a nice little bit of memory. I love the 5 Yorus. Before that, the 5 Vipers as well. You love to see that from the side of California State, but nonetheless, we are getting into Ascent, our first map. And what are you expecting, Jack? Agent selection can be a little bit interesting here, depending on how teams want to go.
It can be indeed, and one thing I've been constantly saying is please just stop picking the Reyna. It's just she's not nearly as good as she used to be. I mean, she can still do pretty well, but her carry potential is so much lower, and Jabal did not heed my warning whatsoever. They are going to be going in with the Reyna, and I think for the most part, there's a lot of staples here that you see on Ascent, which is going to be our first map. We already know. Our second map will be Haven, so we'll get to that eventually, but I mean, the Cypher, the Jet, the Sova, they're all pretty much mainstays, but we do see a few differences on the side of Dominguez Hills. They're going to run the Cypher versus a Breach. Breach, I believe this is the most popular map that he's played on usually, and then the Reyna versus the Phoenix, both duelists that can self-heal and both can flash and stun, but I gotta say, I think Phoenix is in a much better place right now in the meta than a Reyna is.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Well, that certainly came to be in our last matchup. The Phoenixes on Vine in particular really showing strong for both sides in that matchup. So we'll see if Bayv can do the exact same thing here on Ascent. All that being said, I think it's kind of interesting that we're seeing Symbols pick up the Breach. I like Breach here. The thing about Breach is it's all whether or not you can utilize that utility effectively. Otherwise, sometimes struggles. Not meant to set up yourself. Always going to be meant to set more on the team side.
And it's not always about just actually hitting the flash or hitting the damage. It's sometimes just about creating space and clearing out points. But if you're not doing either of those things, then your abilities are just going to be going to waste. But we're going to see what they can do here on A early on.
Boise State walked up slowly, but now the push is there. Getting caught up with the cage and the Cypher utility as well, but eventually able to break onto that side as the spike getting planted. Everybody just allowing for this to happen, though. It's now the utility coming out, getting some information. The Owl Drone included in that as the first frag does go the way of Bayv. So California State looking good as they swing in to retake. Shan, another frag as that's the sonar dart to give information, and every single kill going the way of California State as they retake.
They retake, they get the flawless round, they get the defuse with plenty of time to spare, and now they're going to be able to pick up some more ghosts and friendlies that have been left behind. I mean, it was a great initial approach by Boise State too, but they use all of their breach utility to get in. They use the flash immediately, and it does clear out the point, but then what do they have to hold it? They don't really have much in their pocket, unfortunately, and they split up, they don't hold the right angles, and there they do give it up. And as I'm looking at this buy right now, it looks like surprisingly a bit of a buy from Boise State too after losing. I think we always talk about the possibility of a bonus round, but a lot of these teams don't want to wait for it. They want to go for it, and they're going to go for it right now on B.
Yeah, it seems like there's some adjustments there often as the first frag going the way, though, of these attackers. So maybe this force flight working out to their favor. Now getting aggressive, the Lear, as well as the flashpoint going out onto B. There's nobody home. So same thing over at A. Nobody was there, as now one bad dog swinging through that smoke, trying to pick something up, but that is not very effective. So the defenders coming back in here, doing work, and making this look a little bit easier. That being said, J-Ball not wanting to get shut down quite yet. Trying to swing into 3 players is Baby, but that is not going to work out in your favor most of the time. Riley, the sole player left, he's in a 1-on-2, tries to swing out for the right weapon, but it's not got a lot of bullets in there, and so Symbols closing things out, 12 HP left, Jag.
Yeah, that time they were able to do the exact same play. They just run in and they're able to get a pick right off the bat, which would really open things up for that attacking side from Boise State. I think the other thing is that you see the Reyna, you know, she did survive a little bit longer than other heroes or other agents could in that potential situation. She still couldn't clutch it out, but it was really the gun not being there for Riley, running out of bullets near the very end, because both players alive for Boise State too were very weak. But that gambit paid off. The buy worked out for Boise State too, and now they're going to go for pretty much a full buy here, except for Symbols.
Yeah, exactly. Fully invested into this round, so that definitely makes things a little bit dicier if you ask me, especially considering, you know, losing this round, you would be in a bit of an economic rut. Though, J-Ball, that's a very nice start. AV goes down, and so a man advantage. Let's see what they try and do with it, Jag.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the defenders, you already have to play super passive now, so you can't put anyone down mid unless you want to make one site a little bit weaker, and you also don't have great guns. So I was surprised, honestly, that they just didn't play it aggressively and run into them down mid. I think that's a good thing to do when it's a save round. But I mean, it looks like right now they're just playing really passive on the attack, which is a bit surprising because they have superior firepower, and like you said, they have that person advantage, but right now, they are playing this as safe as possibly could be, and there's nothing wrong with that when you want to rotate well, but if you take too long, you might be running into a whole army.
Yeah, well, that's 2 players at the very least, one around the edge of that dart cover, but it's just one frag in return, and a very nice sonar dart pulled out. Makes that very, very difficult. Zeke, well placed. So it's just Riley left, and a bit of deja vu, but this time not even close. It's going to be the Jet picking up the frag, and that's 2-1.
And I feel like Boise State, too, could have won that round a lot quicker, but I also respect that they didn't want to press too far, because even when you don't have good guns, you can still win rounds. I mean, that's what being thrifty is all about in the Classic. You get a bit too close, able to hit its alternate fire to the head, and that's going to be almost a guaranteed insta-kill. But still, they get the job done, and now we're going to see the first full buy from both sides, and oh my goodness, is that an Odin coming online? Yes, it is.
Oh, I do love to see me and Odin. That is unsurprisingly going to be over there towards the B site, just trying to get a little bit of spam done. But nothing quite gained off the back of that just yet. It looks as if the attackers, they just want to play this slow and steady, just like that last round. Don't want to give anything away too early. And, you know, that usually is a pretty good decision on the map of Ascent. The default Jag can be very strong.
It can be, and I think it enabled them in the last round, but they still played a bit patiently after that. But here, they're still waiting for that initial pick, or maybe they're just trying to cause some noise. They haven't really done that. They did get the orb on A, so that can kind of direct the defenders to say, oh, maybe they're going to be going towards A, but it's actually more of a mid approach. I think the biggest thing is that Sylph has to be really careful because they have the spike mid, and if they're caught out, that could be very deadly for Zeke, but it looks like they will be able to rotate out of that. And again, just Boise State too, they're They're waiting for that initial pick, but they're not going to find it just yet.
Yeah, lots of passive play here from both sides, actually. The defense not really getting too aggressive. The most aggressive they've gotten is that Odin over towards B. But with that being said, it looks like the group up is finally happening, and mostly towards A. It looks like it should be an A split. Zeke getting some information with that sonar dart. It does get peeked, though. Makes things hard. Curveball coming around the corner, but JazAQ gonna be able to pick up that frag, and now the double swing is good. So a second for the Jet, doing big work, make it 3. That's a big swing from one mad dog, and unfortunately getting punished for it, leaving the Sova 1-on-4. The Odin in hand. Honestly, you might just want to get away with this weapon. It's so expensive. It's just gonna be frustrating if you lose it.
And this is what I expected from the beginning. I expected the Sova to have it, to Riley to have it. Usually you want to try to go for that sonar arrow and then see if there's anyone in B garage. But instead they gave it to the Jet, was a bit surprising. But now they give it back to Riley, who's now just trying to find an angle to find an exit pick. But it's not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon. And that's going to be another very strong round from the attackers. And one thing I remember last time is that chat was very good at reminding us that the Jets player name on the side of Boise State 2 is JazAQ. I think we were saying Jazak last time, so as a reminder, we remember, chat. We remember. So they are doing very well right now at 5-2, and that's going to be another round for Boise State after losing the initial one.
Yeah, and that is a great adjustment, right? You wait, you play it slow, you get the information, and fortunately, you were right. There was a big, unfortunately, a big opportunity for Zeke to go down with that spike, but didn't get punished for it. And so for that, the split worked out beautifully. And so another round on the board as, look at the ultimates, a couple of them online right now for the attackers. So I'm curious to see what they could do with it. Maybe also have to run it back. So that's definitely could be spicy, depending on where they elect to throw it in.
I mean, if you're Zeke, I think you use it as a way to recontest the spike after it's already been planted, as a way to stop defusers from coming down. I think you could use the Rolling Thunder as a way to initiate a point, or also the same way as a Hunter's Fury and use it to stop it. I think you hold the Blade Storm for a while, use it for when your economy isn't that great, and if you use the Empress as a way to clutch out, so there's a lot of different plays here for Boise State 2, a lot of different ways for those ultimates to be used. But they're just playing so passively. I'm not sure we're going to see them come out anytime soon. I think the Rolling Thunder would probably be the first thing that we'd see come out if anything does. But do you really need to commit anything when you're already up in economy? And they saved the Odin last round for Dominguez Hills, but beyond that, they don't have a lot to work with right now.
Well, you mentioned it, the Rolling Thunder. It does come out over onto A, but one player was there. That is going to be taken down, though, by Vagar. That's very well placed. Now, Symbols trying to do something with these flashes, and the Aftershock, in fact, to push back any re-aggression paranoia as well. So much going into this one choke, and from the underneath, able to pick up that frag, but swinging around the corner, still very strong. 2 frags going the way of the defense, but that is short-lived because Yeoman just winning out these gunfights, and to follow it up, it is still 2-on-1. In the Odin, though, do much of anything here. You're just going to have to figure out something great on the spray. Dropping down. That's the first for Riley. Makes it a 1v1. That's beautiful. Riley with the pistol. Picking it up, and I think there should just be enough time, but it is awful close. It does get away with it. Less than a second left, Jag.
That is a buzzer beater to fuse right there, and unfortunately for Boise State 2, they played it just a bit too aggressively. I talked about how when you have that Hunter's Fury, you can just sit back, relax, go to the archway. You know where the spike is, you can have your teammates ping it. Instead, they were playing in hell. They tried to go for different angles, looking at the drop from heaven, and neither of them were able to find any kills. And I think it looks like Gibaldo was just caught a little bit off guard. Because that was a Vandal versus a Classic. That's usually not a duel you lose, but there they did, and the defenders are able to take one back. They get guns, and now they've got some ults just like that. Run it back.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention, by the way, the fault line, you know, the main ability for the breach also knocks you off of the spike. So you don't even need that Rolling Thunder necessarily. There's lots of options, but speaking of which, that's a very nice headshot. The Paul going to be picking up that frag and, well, solidifies the advantage operator in hand. K, a nice shot. As now it's Riley having to defend this fight. Gets two, but Zeke able to return that frag onto the opposing Sova. Puts Bay-V in a tough situation. Already utilized that run it back as mentioned, so has to do it alone as he just gets, just spotting out the one, swings the corner, able to pick it up, not gonna fake the TP, gets into the back, but it's just 1 HP, and Bay-V winning that one out. What a 1v2 clutch.
And what's most impressive about that is they didn't have any curveballs going into that at all. They'd already used them previously, and somehow, someway, they're just able to get to, because I'm not sure what happened. They don't get the operator, so that is not the worst case scenario for Boise State 2. They didn't give up that gun, but that's a round they really should have won it again. It's like these scenarios where they're up and they've got the numbers, and yet still they're just not playing the right angles. They're not reacting fast enough. They're not playing far back enough. I mean, Boathouse is like the first place you're gonna look when you're defending on B, when you've already planned the spike. Where's the second place? It's always gonna be in that corner, and that's actually the first place they look that time. And either way, they're able to clear out sight, and Bay-V able to bring it back to even.
Charles Eke already going to be utilizing that Blade Storm early into this round. And Job Bold trying to get aggressive. The curveball comes through. It's enough for Bay-V to pick up the frag. So man advantage already now for the defenses. This is starting out quite strong. You had that clutch in the last round, obviously, and well, a much more solid win the round before. Somehow, though, still enough cash to pick out mostly guns here for the attack. Boise State 2 in a pretty good spot, all things considered, despite those losses. But now they have to group up towards A and try to make something work over here. It looks like Symbol's looking to go in. There's the dash to engage with. Now, Bladestorm has to come up big, but it's Riley who comes up way bigger. Bay-V drives in her one as well as one mad dog. And it is 4-3.
And this is exactly why I hate the Odin. It's just such a good gun. The high rate of fire, you don't need to be accurate with it. You can just spray and pray. A lot of the other guns, like a Vandal especially, you can't really spray. Like you want to hit that one tap, and if you don't, then it goes all over the place of where the hitbox ends up being. Phantom you can spam a little bit, but like the Odin is just so deadly, especially if you have it at range and from above. Every time Riley is just going to be taking the exact same angle, and besides that one paranoia from Veigar a little bit earlier that helped shut it down, Riley is just a force to be reckoned with right now. And every time they're going to go for the exact same play, which basically stops Boise State 2 from ever trying to enter onto B immediately.
So 3 rounds now in a row for California. And it looks as if Shan wants to change things up, get aggressive over towards B. And the Hunter's Fury, Riley picking up one with that and a couple of tags as well. So pretty solid stuff, getting lots of value out of that ultimate. And now you're in a tough spot, right? 3-on-4. What do you do here? You're stuck in mid.
You got the Empress, but you are stuck in mid, so it's not a great location. I think throwing the shock darts to create space and do some damage is a great idea. So Zeke is going to clear out Catwalk for just a little bit, but now I've been completely spotted out by that recon ball. I think you try to send Reyna on the flank with her Empress. That's really your only like big brain play that you can go for, and it's going to be boom or bust.
Well, right now it's looking bust, but because those frags picking them up, Shan 3 to close out the round. 5-3 now. California State, they are looking to just regain control late into this first half.
And they started off with the first round win, which feels like forever ago now that we're getting to our 9th round, but then they gave it up, then they brought it back. So there's a bit of a back and forth pendulum swing so far, but I think now Dominguez Hills has really established themselves, and they've gutted the economy for Boise State too. It looks like most of them will be able to buy, but instead of going for it, they're actually just going to do a save so that next round they can completely buy a team, and I really like that. The question is, how do you play this? You still have 3 ultimates, so you still have utility. Do you just rush onto a point and try to get it over quickly, try to get as many exit frags as you can, or do you still play this the same way you have, which is going for an early plant and then usually not being able to defend it?
It looks as if right now the plan for Jibald is to just get aggressive. Okay, maybe not. Looked like they wanted to walk through that dart cover, but not going to be doing that one. So it is just a spread out offense right now. The paranoia comes through, but it's just a little bit off. And nice taps. 1, 2, and 3. One mad dog picking up those frags in mid. And that is the danger, right? Whenever you have the not ideal weapons, the sheriffs in hand, you can just get swung by a vandal. And they do that. It's devastating.
It's like it's a one-tab battle, but the sheriff fire rate is so much worse that you're almost never going to win it. You are going to be able to take out Riley, so finally that Odin is going to be offline, but it's a 1v4, and Jazaki currently is so weak. They're going to pick it up. They're going to try to see if they can find anything more, and it's not going to be there. That Odin is going to safely go back to Dominguez Hills, and they've really started going on this defense. It seems like they needed a few warm-up rounds to remind themselves of where they are and who they're playing, but now they have gone going. But I think the most interesting thing we see here is that both teams have bought operators, and it's going to be the jet players, which is what we expect. But I'm really hoping we get some fadeaway shots here with the dash.
Oh man, those are the most fun, aren't they? As well, there is 7 ultimates available for this round, counting both sides. So we could be seeing a bit of chaos going back and forth, all things considered. First shot from that operator not working out very well. But Jaza K does get aggressive. There's one player playing inside the dark cover. That Omen was potentially able to swing through, but it's going to fall back as it's Shan who picks up the first frag with an operator there. Japol getting just a little bit too aggressive over towards B, and the dry peak getting punished for that. So now, man, disadvantage as well. It's been a tough spot, honestly, for Boise State, too, in the last couple of rounds. What can they do here?
I think they got to be a little bit quicker on the draw of their ultimates. I mean, I'm looking at this Empress, and they've been holding it for forever, and they already have another Rolling Thunder. They had the equalizer, but I mean, do they go for the point right now? Do they just run into B? The door isn't closed, or do they try to take the defender's spawn side? And they see that hot hand just came in, so they know that there's going to be someone on the flank, but they don't see Shan.
Oh, I mean, you called it yourself. Just a little bit hesitant, not quite ready to make those quick decisions. Now finally pushing on Symbols, does win out that fight against Riley, but it's still 2-on-3, and aggressive Shan picking up the frag there with the knives. Not quite able to follow up, but Bay V does just that with just a moment between the two. So 7-3 now. This is a very nice half already winning out the half at this point. Our California State Dominguez Hills.
Yeah, they've already won it, as you said, so no matter what, they will have at least a 2-round lead. But I mean, if they get 2 more rounds, they're going to be very close to getting the victory very early on after the swap. And I mean, this is a defended-sided map, so we'll see how they do on their attack. Maybe Boise State is able to turn things around then, but right now, I mean, their economy, again, not so great. They're going to try to save for the last round, it looks like, instead of trying to go for a full spend here, and I'm not sure that's going to be enough, as already 2 kills are coming out for Dominguez 3.
I mean, that's just beautiful. The aftershock is there. It's going to force out Bay V, but it is at the cost of a lot of lives. And that is 1 frag. Very nice shot, by the way. The headshot in. Another flash. That's the beauty of this breach. The flash point's on point, but, well, the bullet hose is a little bit better. You don't even have to see him to kill him.
It's just like a sprinkler. It goes everywhere. It goes through the wall, able to get a very spectacular wall bang there. And although there were some great kills there from the sheriff, it just wasn't enough for Symbols to get their team where they needed to. And it doesn't even really matter in the grand scheme of things besides helping their KD a bit, because unfortunately this is the last time before the swap, and there's still plenty of money to go around. I mean, look at Riley right now. When was the last time they bought? They have full money for this round. They could all buy operators if they really wanted to, which they won't, but great gun advantage, still have 4 ultimates, so a lot of things going in their way. Or actually 4 ultimates the other side, only 2 on their side, but still think a lot of things are going right for Dominguez Hills.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of hesitance with these ultimates for Boise State, too. There goes one of them, finally getting thrown in. It is going to tag down Riley, but it is not enough for anything but 1 frag. So it's just a 1-for-1 trade as Jazak K tries to get aggressive here, but it looks like one player is looking for that push, but not able to find it. Gambera going down. Now the swing. Kazake just swings out and finds frags. Baby finally shuts down that rampage, but it's still a one-player disadvantage, as now you've got to run back in here with not all that much time left, considering now, oh, that was a massive frag, needed to be found, and it's now 1v3, already found the first, has the paranoia in hand, so that's going to not hit anybody, and Jabold with the frag closes down the half, 8-4.
And I think there, if you're one Mad Bad Dog, you really have to use that teleport when it's a 3v2, try to go into Boathouse, try to get some information about where they are on point, and then cancel it. Get out of there. Go back to where you were. It's great. It's great recon, and that's what you really need when you're down a person, but they don't do it. They don't commit it, and we finally see the Empress come out. I think that was the first time in 12 rounds we saw it come out, and look at the value it got. It got a lot of value for Boise State too, so if they're a little bit quicker on hitting their ultimates instead of holding them for a rainy day, I think they might give themselves a great chance going on to this defense. This is pistol round once again. It's a reset. We'll see if Boise State 2 can come back. They're only down by 4. It's not the best situation. It's not the worst either. They could be down quite a bit more, honestly. So we'll see what they can do now that sides are swapped.
Yeah, I definitely get the feeling there, all things considered, not a terrible half. And, well, it's looking as if it's just a slow walk over towards B for California State, as now they turn on the Jets, starting to pick up the pace and move over onto the site. No real player here to defend, with that one exception of Zeke, but they have been taken down very quickly indeed. So 4v4, this retake is coming.
And I really want to see how the Cypher plays this. Cypher is notoriously not so great on attack when you're trying to get onto a site, but once you have it, once you've got the spike planted, they can be great to stop defenders from getting on there. They got the camera, they've got the tripwires, so we'll see how they do with this. Yeah. It looks like right now it's going a little bit better for the defenders.
I mean, it's certainly a great opening, though. Trades, not so much. One Mad Bad Dog picking up 2, but Jabold just right-clicking away. There is symbols as well. So winning out those duels where it matters the very most. And so it's going to be 5 for the Boise State 2 side. They have started to kind of bring things back now.
And it could always start with just that one round, or those 2 rounds near the end. It was 1 round to be exact, but now they've won 2 in a row. And it's just a little bit of momentum. I was talking about the pendulum swing before, how it went very much so in Dominguez Hill's favor for quite a bit, but now it's starting to go back to Boise State 2. They still have a little ways to go, but they do have a good buy here. I'm interested to see how this Marshall pick works out, because I've seen a lot more teams commit to the Marshall now. It's a bit stronger and it's a bit cheaper, so it gives you a little long-range damage. It's not quite as accurate as the Op, or not quite as powerful, but it can still get kills that are one-tapped.
Yeah, I haven't seen a ton of really effective Marshall play, and I'm hoping that increases as more people pick up the weapon, because it's certainly a lot of fun to watch, as it looks like that A push very much is in. And the force buy from both sides as well. So one Mad Bad Dog does find that first frag. The attackers looking strong here, as they have fully taken the site, but due to the smoke, Vigard picks up a big frag as well. So now it makes things a little bit more difficult as they just get ready. They prompt to go in, but that sonar dart, that arrow, so impactful, as the flashpoint was there, but now they know where 2 of these last 3 players are, but they don't win the gunfights. Oh no! Boise State 2 fall.
And do you know what we finally saw for what feels like the first time in the series? One Mad Bad Dog playing at the archway. So they do have 2 in Hell, and again, I'm not a huge fan of 2 players taking the exact same angle, but they have someone coming on the rotation from the backside. No one is expecting that on the side of Boise State too, and although although I believe it was Zeke, does their best there at the very end, can't get the job done, not looking behind them, and it's going to be Dominguez Hills getting closer and closer to that victory. Also, have a pretty good buy. Not a full buy by any means, but a lot of Spectres on their side, and they only need 4 more rounds to close this out.
Well, and it looks like Boise State, too, they have conceded the economic territory, where before California State, they elected to force buy-in. They had a couple more rounds to work with, obviously, as well. That's certainly going to be going into that decision, but They are back onto the eco, the pistols only for Boise State, though those pistols can be effective. Jabald showing exactly why that is as the rest of the push comes on to A. It is just trades, though. All things considered, this is looking very strong. In fact, a man advantage now as Jazak Q picks up that frag. So this is very good for the defense.
Yeah, Jazaki able to pick up a Spectre. Zeke now has a Singer, so a lot of guns going their way, and they're both looking up at heaven, but now they know that there's at least one person at tree, but they're just not turning around. This could be very bad for them as they're about to be run up on.
Oh no, baby! So committed!
Riley
with the triple spray down, saving the round for California State. I mean, honestly, I thought it was over. Baby just not looking the right direction, but that was a great clutch from Riley.
Fortunately, they could not save the Phantom that Baby had, so the best gun that was on the field is going to be in no one's hands. That's going to force them to buy a little bit more, but they're still going to have priority here with the guns. Riley is going to stay with that Spectre, but one thing I'm really interested to see is how Jazzy K plays on this operator. It's going to be the first one we're going to see from either teams after the swap, and now that they're on the defense, it gives them great opportunity to just take advantage of angles and set up a bit earlier.
Looks like Shan is just a bit of a connoisseur of this Odin. Picking it up, obviously, you know, we've seen that from Riley, but Jazak K, that's a way to shut down that Odin before it can do much of anything. Taking it out before it can start going as Shan falls and another to follow. Bay V going down as both of the duelists available for the attack have fallen.
And what was I just talking about? I was talking about the operator. I was talking about Jazzy K. When you're a Jet and you have the option to sit up before the attackers, you know, just take the angles that you want, this map is basically your playground. But when you have to rotate, that's when things can get a bit more suspicious. And now they know that's going to be right around the corner.
Certainly do. There is one frag fought back. One mad bad dog. He's there, available, but missing the shots. Jabald winning that out. Now the operator picks up the spot on the Ganbara. Is now 2-on-4. Like, what even can you do here? Zeke swings out, wins that duel with ease. Now, should be one for the Cypher, but not much more, especially not with that sonar dart thrown inside the dark cover. A little bit unfortunate there, as it's the first round picked up after what was a couple in a row for California State.
I think the problem is that they had the wrong players at the wrong positions. So I think one Mad Bad Dog had to be the one on point, and you needed Riley to be the one in the back. Obviously, when it's a 1v3, the Hunter's Fury is going off. That's kind of just telling everyone where you are. So that it might have not been the best play to try to do it as a way to contest the spike defuse, but that's your best play there. So one Mad Bad Dog, if they can stay alive, if they can be hiding long enough, use the Hunter's Fury. You save it for this round instead. They've got 4 ultimates versus 4 ultimates on the other side, so lots of ultimates all around, but Dominguez Hill don't have a lot of money to spend, and that's coming out with the fact that they have mostly Singers.
Yeah, mostly Singers and a lot of aggression. Hitting up onto B, the first frag, and Jabald chiming in as well. It's looking like all the frags go in the defense's way, barring just the one, and Riley spraying wildly, trying to find Zeke as he picks up a triple kill to close out the round and narrow this scoreline.
I felt like at that point, Riley was just like, all right, come kill me. I give up. I don't know what they were shooting at there. I'm not exactly sure what the plan was, but I mean, no harm, no foul. It's not a lot of money they gave up there for the frenzy, and now they're gonna have the Odin once again, which is their favorite gun. That's been made pretty clear. And I mean, the Odin versus the operator, Jazzy now starting to come alive, come online, and I'm gonna take Jazzy, I'm gonna say, in that duel if it does happen.
I mean, listen, that's the way the history looks. Jazzy winning, of course, that one-on-one duel, but yeah, 10 ultimates, by the way. Not a single person doesn't have their ult up here, so I think we could see some craziness. Where do you think that they should put these towards on the attack?
I think, I mean, you don't want to take that duel, so already that kind of changes the plan because now you're down one. I think you make a lot of noise one place, and then you use the Omen teleport, but use it as a bait. So you don't actually teleport anywhere. You just use it to get the noise, and everyone knows it, and then you go on to the same point that you were originally making sound at. And that's just a big brain strat that I think of, but I don't know if there's enough time. I'm not exactly sure what their plan is. I mean, they bought here, and if Dominguez Hills loses this, they're almost guaranteed to lose the next round as well, and things get closer and closer. So there's a little bit of desperation from them as they have not had nearly as much success on attack since the swap. And as you said, things are getting closer and closer for them, so they got to make a move eventually.
Well, and much like on Boise State's attack, it feels like they aren't quite sure where to use these ultimates necessarily. I like the idea of throwing in a nice little fake, but we haven't quite seen that just yet. It looks as if it's going to be a B hit. Most of the players here for the defense have already gotten out of there, and in fact, all of them have. The dark cover going to be cutting them off as BV trying to get aggressive. The curveball comes through. Does wind up one. Can he get out, though? 24 health. Is able to get away. Now the running back is online as well as now a 4-on-4 rather for this retake.
And I'm surprised they don't use the running back immediately. It's going to give them 100 health, but they're kind of caught out right now between a rock and a hard place market, as well as defenders, while the Emperor's going to come in, but 3 are going to get paranoid, but still a 4-on-4.
That's great utility usage initially, just stalling out this push as long as possible. Now it comes through. 2 players moving towards the site. One still with the operator in market, but it's not going to be quite enough as the frag's not really going the way of the defense. In fact, none of them, with the exception of Symbols finding one, and Jazake does pick up 1 on 2 on the exit, but that is still a round victory in the hands of the attackers. California State, they have put themselves back on the map after just a 2-round deficit.
That was a round they had to win. They did win it, unfortunately, because so many of them died. Their economies are still not great. So I'm wondering how they're going to go for this buy. If they're going to go for the Bulldog and full shields, or go for a Vandal or Phantom and light shields. And it seems like my question has been answered, as most of them are going for the light shields. And if you get into a spam matchup, that can be the difference maker. 25 extra health or 25 extra health protected. That can be the difference between life or death. But most importantly, Riley has the Odin and Jazake has the operator. I think those are the biggest takeaways after that last round.
Well, and unfortunately, the defense relegated to 2 Guardians as well. That definitely makes things a little bit more difficult. And so now, well, I was going to say Shan has that Blade Storm already picking up a frag. Bold going down. As now that run it back utilized. We thought we would see it in the last round. Now it's used to create a lot of space over here towards the gardens. Getting aggressive, does get sent back though. That does allow for Shan to comfortably walk up into this position and hold off rotates before they're even able to come through. Zeke falls to that hold, and Kambara with 1 as well. This is looking devastating now for the defense as they've just got 2 players left.
And this neural theft is actually going to be huge because they find out exactly where the operator is. So that's going to be, oh, let's say that might be a good taken out of their hand. Oh, it is not just yet. A bit of a misplay there by Shan, but Bayv is there to clean it up. That's going to be the operator going into their hands. And what a perfect time to get it. This is the last round they need to secure this first map.
Yeah, exactly. You know, pretty much perfectly played there. You like to see the space created right by that run it back to basically allow for Shan to easily walk up there without any danger, and potentially find another frac as well.
It's all recon there. I mean, you use the run it back and you lose it, but you know there's someone on the stairs, but they turn around. If it was Symbols, they turn around, so they're able to get the person that was to the left. And oh, that's going to be Jazake falling, so that operator battle happened really quickly, and already it's going to be offline for Boise State.
I mean, Shen stepping things up big time here in the last few rounds. That already found the first in this, what could be the last round. One Mad Bad Dog as well. Finding that kill onto Zeke, and blinded up is the player on B side. So Bayv waiting things out. It is desperation mode. Just 2 left alive here for the defense.
Hunter's Fury coming out, doesn't hit anyone just yet. They do know where they are though, and it is going to be the final blow as Bayv and Riley get kills back to back, and it was close for a little bit, but at the end of the day, it looks like Dominguez Hills just pulled out all the stops and were able to persevere and get, I mean, a 6-round differential. Again, it's not the biggest win in the books, but it's still pretty clean at the end of the, it's just overall just pretty clean.
I mean, it certainly is, and when you think about the way in which they won it, there was quite a few rounds that just kind of looked flashy from their perspective. We weren't necessarily seeing that same sort of a flashiness, right, from the Boise State side. And that's not everything. I'm saying that to mean that oftentimes when California State were making the big plays, they were making the huge plays.
And I think also they had some very big players step up. I mean, you look at the leaderboard and 4 out of 5 of the top fraggers are from California State, but Riley in particular is really impressive. Sova usually not a character that gets too aggressive, but they really shine on that Odin. But there were some plays other than just the Odin that were really great, and I think there were like 1v2s that they won back to back. So those are 2 rounds. If they hadn't been given up by Boise State when they had that person advantage, this could have been a much closer map. Could have been 9-11, and we could still be continuing it here. But you lose the ones you should win, and unfortunately, you don't get any go agains. There are no reversals of fortune there, and I think they really need to shut down Riley going forward.
Yeah, they certainly need to make those adjustments, and we're going to give them some time to try and make some adjustments before we move into the second map of Haven. So for that, we're going to go to a short little intermission whilst they do that, and we'll be right back with you to finish out this series potentially right after this.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. Apologies for the bit of an extended pause, but we have returned. We're getting ready to go into Haven, and of course, California State. They're up 1-0 in this series, Jag. What adjustments do you think Boise State 2 could make to try and bring us to a map 3?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Vincent, because you and I were talking about this during that extended break, and one thing we both agreed on was the Reyna pick. It just wasn't, unfortunately, getting the value that Boise State 2 was looking for, and there were some frag outs there, here and there, but it's not enough. When you've got a character like that that's so feast or famine, you made a great point. They really need to be in the top 3, not only of their team, but I would say overall in the lobby, to really say all right, this was a good pick. And unfortunately, for Boise State 2, their Reyna was only at 7th overall in the lobby, 3rd on their team. That's a big part of why they were not able to get the win there. They weren't able to secure kills, and another thing was that they weren't able to finish rounds where they were up early on. There are a lot of 1v2s that they ended up losing, and I think that's the biggest thing. They just need to finish strong. They need to make sure that they're getting that last kill. They need to be taking different angles, or at least if they're going to take the same angle, immediately you've got to go for that trade. It's got to be the 1-for-1, because you've got one body to give. They do not. So if you're able to get that kill immediately after your teammate dies, then you win. All is good. And again, it would have been a lot closer if they'd been able to get some of those rounds back, but they didn't, and they lost 13-7.
Yeah, and all things considered, a relatively slim margin. Not a bad map by any means for Boise State. They did struggle with some other things as well. I think we both mentioned ultimate usage was definitely a struggle for them. They didn't necessarily appear to have a full plan in place when trying to throw out those ultimates, particularly on the attack, and on the defense it seemed more reactionary than anything, so that could be another potential adjustment as well. But despite what we have said, it looks as if Jabald might be going for Arena once again. We should be on the lookout for potentially Jabald to step things up here.
Yeah, and it looks like so far Boise State, they haven't changed up anything. This is the exact same comp they just ran, and Again, I'm wondering how the breach plays into this because I feel like there is some great plays from Symbols, and then there were some not so great ability usages here and there. The Rolling Thunder didn't really find value, I feel like, whenever it was used, but they will try to do it. But on the other side, we might see Zero going on the Reyna, so we are going to see the Reyna matchup, and we're not going to see a Jet come out from them. So that's very, very interesting. We're going to see how that plays out, and I gotta say, I think I actually do like Boise State's comp just a little bit more going into this.
Well, and you know what's odd about the lack of a Jet, right, is Haven, right? It's so operator centric, or at least it can be. And the Jet obviously has such great abilities that are just that work well with that operator. And the fact that we don't see the Jet here definitely seems a little bit odd. That being said, on the other side, Zero going with the Reyna, I think it's good for the Reyna duel. Actually helps them out, but going against just about anything else, that does make things a little bit more dicey. And Riley now on a Sova, the amount of utility available for the attackers right now is incredible, especially in comparison to what we see for the defense.
Yeah, for her second, Riley looks like they were going to the sky, but it was just a bait. They go back to the Sova that they top fragged on last time, mostly in part because of their Odin play. I think what you brought up was a very good point, though. I mean, Jet's usually your operator player. They won't have to worry about that as much on the attack right now for Dominguez Hills for a little bit, but I mean, if you don't have a Jet, usually it's a Raze because she has the blast packs that help her get in and out of fights if need be, but there's no one that really has that ability on the side of Dominguez Hills except for maybe Zero. If they're able to get someone on the ground, they get the Soul Orb and then they're invulnerable and they kind of wraith away, but that means you have to get the first kill as opposed to like missing a shot and then getting out with one of those abilities.
Yeah, exactly. Makes it a little bit more difficult. So, information gained off the back of that camera. The cage has come out, but the push is in, and the frag as well. Good. Zeke falling down here on the defense of the A site is Baby. Gets into a prime position, curveball prepped and ready. Swing is there, but gets hit in the head for the trouble, and so the hot hands has to come out in response. But they know exactly where Baby is sitting, gets blinded up through, but they've forgotten about him. It doesn't matter, the swing good with Zero. Keeps doing massive work on the Reyna with these frags. We talked about it at, well, a lot as we come in. That opposing Reyna now picking up the frag. It is 1v3, the first of that already dispatched. 3 bullets, now 2, not quite enough as Riley cleans up the round.
Cleans up the round, and it was really a battle between Zero and Jabal, and you kept talking about how big that would be, you know, when they go face to face. It was Jabal who comes out on top of that duel, at least that time around, but Zero does enough damage to get the win, and that was just a great play there by Baby. I mean, they basically bait everyone to look at them. They know exactly where they are in the corner because of the hot hands. It's got a little bit of an area of effect, so you can see it sometimes through walls a little bit. There, they just peeked the wrong way. Then they did turn around on Zero, but it was a bit too late, and now we're going to see, I think this is a good play from Boise State. We've seen some force buys after losing the first round, but they're actually going to go all classics. And Riley now going to be on the Guardian, so definitely not afraid to bring out some of the less meta guns here.
It's refreshing, man, to see the classic in the second round. You know, not something we necessarily always see, but the confidence to just go for the low purchase, no real need to force buy in. And we are seeing a very, very slow round here for the attackers. They just want to bait out any sort of aggression on the defensive side. And right now, there is some aggression, as in Zeke pushing over at A, but otherwise, it's been very slow with just about a minute left now in the round.
It is very slow for the attackers, which is a bit surprising because we've seen that sometimes the attackers have had the advantage. They have the better gun buy, and yet they still play it very passively. I mean, the one thing is they have gotten some damage on the side of Boise State right now. They've got 2 players that are weak, and now they're going to get the first kill. So that default pick has finally come through, and we're going to see where they push through, and it looks like it could be mid or it could be to C.
First, got to dispatch Jabal, who is looking to get aggressive over long. Now that mid push comes in that you were talking about, or more aptly in through the garage. A little bit of attack onto Gambara, but ooh, very nice. That's 2 for 1. It's been traded out by Baby. It's still 2 frags though. All things considered, with 5 classics, this is not too shabby. as the Cypher has been tagged down significantly, and it's probably just a matter of time before he gets taken out.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't much you can do right now for Zeke, unfortunately. They know exactly where you are. You don't have long distance that can compete with a Guardian or even a Spectre with the Classic, so it doesn't really make sense to save here, but at the same time, it also makes sense to not give away more credits, more alt charge to the opponent. So if you can somehow get a frag here on the exit, but instead you're going to be running in right into the Guardian, or the Spectre, actually, and there was, I think they just had to turn the corner. They had to check your corners. Always got to check your corners, and unfortunately, don't do it there. But even if they did, I'm not sure that's a matchup that they win.
Yeah, and of course, had to go for that, right? Because of the fact that, you know, you only get 1,000 credits if you survive. Makes things a little bit more difficult. With just the Classic in hand, that's not ideal, is it, Jag?
No, I think you bring up a great point. You actually get, I think, more credits if you do die. So at that point, you might as well just throw yourself in. Maybe you get a kill on the way out. You force the other team to buy a little bit more, and if things go well at that time. You don't get it all, but you do get something, and now you get the full buy for your team.
Yeah, exactly. Full buy-in, 3 Vandals, 2 Phantoms against the bonusing weaponry of California State. They have pretty much nothing that's ideal, I want to be honest. The Guardian, a couple of Spectres, a couple of Stingers. It's a bit of everything to throw at the enemies this round. The Spike has been left in a prime position, just going to be getting aggressive over towards B. It's one mad bad dog. And this has been slow, steady here. Just about a minute left. Nothing really happening. Just some pushing on the extremities.
And it's interesting because this is like the exact same as last round, but now they are at a disadvantage. This is what I would expect after they know that this is a bonus for the defenders. And now that they lost the first pick, they lost Riley, they might have to change up their game plan. But I mean, I think there's 2 ways to play this if you know you've got the worse guns or the lesser guns going into this. Either you just run in, or you just play it slow and steady and you try not to lose the first gunfight. Unfortunately, they do, and now you really can't play slow and steady because there's only 30 seconds left.
Well, speaking of slow and steady, the run it back utilized there on the offense, but unfortunately over at A, there is just nobody winning any gunfights, and that as well not working out. The run it back utilized, but nothing gained off the back of it, and Jabald with a 3K. Proc's a flawless round now for Boise State too.
I think, yeah, so going back to what I said, I think the best plan there is just run it down in mid, try to plan it on B, get some extra money, maybe get an alt orb or 2, or, you know, at least charge from the spike plant, because there's no way you're winning that round at long distance. They try to take C and A, both that have great sightlines for the defenders, and neither option was a great one. So unfortunately, they take a few L's there, take a few deaths for the first time, but now they can go for the full buy. And again, this is gonna be the first time we do see both teams full buying, but Jabal can open things up early.
Yeah, very nice frag as well. Well, make it 2. That's beautiful. So we talked about the Reyna. This is the Reyna popping off, playing very well in the early stages of this map. One mad bad dog does kill Zeke over towards A. That was the sole defender over in that direction. He got a little bit too aggressive on short, as now Rambara just trying to take an engagement here at B, but he's just going to hold the rotations for a little bit longer. Solely the Jet is available at A, as the rest of his team, well, I'll say the rest, the 2 other players push over towards A. But this is where it gets a little bit difficult. You have to try and do something with that push over towards A. Gambara not going to win that duel on the flank, and oh my goodness, that's just a great frag you love to see. That being said, we spoke about the Reynas. The Reynas are doing work right now as Zero pops the Empress. Low HP though. Needs to find the first frag without losing too much health. Just 18. Now the drop comes in and not ready for it. So Symbols winning out that gunfight. It's tied back up.
And there was a solo orb on the ground for Zero. They just weren't able to pick it up because they were being pressured out by Symbols. So they kind of run back, try to play under hell a little bit, try to go for the spike plant, but unfortunately wasn't able to get the job done. And we talked about the Reyna being useful and how Jabal's had to be in the top 3. They're currently number 1, and it's a bit close now, Zero popping off near the end, but for a while they were ahead by 4 kills from everyone in the lobby. So we'll see if they can keep that up. And also on their team, Jazake going to have the operator again, and we saw how deadly they were last round or last map.
Certainly were, but here's where it gets dangerous. The pace change can really catch out an operator player. The first of those shots not working out. That's going to be the paranoia coming through. Jazake, it's hit by that, but it's not quite enough. The counter utility perfection, and Zeke
That's an
lights
ace.
up, knocks them down. The quad kill to close it out.
I got too excited. You know, I saw the numbers in the top right hand corner, and I was like, oh, finally seen it. But unfortunately, thought a little bit, not enough there, I'd say. Didn't think enough before I said that, but still a great play by Zeke nonetheless. Now we're going to get a little bit closer to Bald, who didn't actually get a kill there, but this is a play I wanted to see from Dominguez Hills a bit earlier. I think on like the second round, or the third round to be exact. I wanted to see them go for that exact play when there wasn't an operator online, but Jazake going to be playing in A Heaven or on C Long almost every time where they have the best sight lines.
Yeah, it certainly is. For this time, though, over towards B, at least for the time being, playing up on top, trying to find something, but that spray not working out in Jabal's favor. BV winning that one out. So, makes things a little bit more difficult, especially that big fragger that we were just discussing going down early. So, that man advantage, what do you do with it? How do you proceed, Jag?
I think right now they're playing this really smart, is that they didn't actually just immediately run into a point after getting one kill. They're playing for map control. They need to make sure that Zero stays alive here. But they're just playing all angles. They're playing all points. I think they're trying to find someone who's trying to rotate all the way around. You know, a defender taking a very aggressive flank, trying to find someone out. Haven't been able to do so just yet. And since you now know that that operator is going to be on A, if you can get this trade, which you do, now you just run all the way into A.
Yeah, that definitely queuing up all of the pushes. The neural theft coming out for the offense gives them a good idea of where the entirety of the defense is rotating in from. Knows that they're coming all from the defender spawn position. So now a pretty great place to be, especially if Bayv is able to make this rotation happen. The quick flank, easy does it. One frag already going the way of the offense, and while trying to back up a little bit, but Bayv was there, and closing it out is the Cypher. So a great response after a couple of rounds not going their way. California State are back in control.
This is exactly what happened on the last map, where at first they built up a small lead, then they gave it up, and then they battled their way back to having a pretty big lead before halftime swaps. And we're quite a ways away. We're still 6 more rounds away before we get there, but this is where you start building things up. Jazake does have enough money to buy another op, and the whole team can buy, but we saw Riley, how much they popped off last time with this Odin. It's now back in their hands, and I feel like as long as they avoid the operator, as long as they avoid Jazake early on and they don't give up that initial pick, they've got a lot of great ways to enter points.
They certainly do. There's a lot of options available, right, to engage with here. Not anything to sniff at is the run it back. Speaking of which, running it back over towards C. That information gain, he's going to find one. That's beautiful. And Riley with the Hunter's Fury as well elsewhere takes down Javald. So another big frag done and dusted as it's 2 on 5. A devastating push over towards the C side, Jag.
It's devastating, and there are ultimates on the side of Boise State, but one of them you got to get a kill for, and so far no one has fallen on the side of Dominguez Hills, and the other one is the Bladestorm. But you run in with that, you could give up the operator. I think honestly, oh, okay, now you get an entry pick, so now you can use it, which they will. It is still a bit risky. Honestly, I'm surprised they haven't just thrown the operator over the side, so it's not given back, but they want to take this, even though it's a 4v2, and now it's a 4v1.
I mean, that's just, you just don't get that spam doing with Riley. Come on now. Riley's going to win that most of the time, and Jazake, despite getting tagged by the sonar dart, does pick up that frag, but all things considered, it's just 2. And with the neural theft invested plus an additional weapon, I don't know if that's really worth it, all things considered. Chet, what is your take?
I agree with you. I don't think it's worth it. I think that if they'd been able to find a kill immediately off the neural theft, and then make it a 2v3, then it's much more worth it. And then I think that you just go for the Bladestorm, because you run in with aggression. It's kind of that swap of, you know, I'm playing long distance, and now all of a sudden I'm in your face, and that's going to catch players off guard. I mean, we've seen how tempo can throw off operator players themselves. So if you're the one switching up the tempo, it's kind of in your control there. But as soon as Cypher died, and as soon as they didn't get a pick, immediately I kind of assumed that was gonna be it, and Riley just gonna be doing Riley things, spamming away into garage and breaking both doors.
and getting a tag on the Jazake. Oh, that's got to be frustrating. It's not too bad, but still a difficult tag early on into this round. But Jazake is not at all flustered by it. Going to be committing regardless to the angle. Now has to fall back due to the owl drone. The information gained, of course, is now everybody is still spread out across the map. It looks as if we're pushing over towards A, though. At least the attackers are. It's just about a minute left here in the round. This is important because the economy can turn so incredibly depending on who wins this round. And now that push incoming, the utility, the counter utility is in. Nobody on the site itself right now, and so those smokes, the dark cover, able to allow some space to get that spike planted down.
Rolling Thunder coming in. Jazake going to open it up with a kill onto Riley, but it's going to be trades upon trades. It's going to be a 3v2 and all is said then done. And you don't just drop into 0 like that, but you also don't want to be facing Jazake. Jazake, can they get the 4K? The Omen is so weak. They know exactly where the spike is. They're going to go for the bait. They only have one shot, so they go for the classic. Instead, they still have the Blade Storm at their disposal. And again, the bait. It's gonna try to get them to peek, but this is very smart from one Mad Bad Dog. They have not peeked the corner just yet. They only show up for a second and time is running out.
Oh, not enough. Not enough. Jazake trying to be the hero of that round, but it wasn't there. And now, I mean, 5-3. You said it before, there was, you know, a moment back on Ascent where it looked very, very close for Boise State, and then we saw California State just reconsider. They stepped back in and basically were dominant, right? And I think we might be seeing that here once more.
Yeah, and that was a big round because that was going to be the... It's going to be the last time for a little bit that they can both full buy, and then the operator also goes to the attacker. So Riley actually going to go off the Odin to the operator, which I think is a bit of a risk because those are two very different guns, but oh no, one Bad Dog going to fall there. So it's an even trade, but I mean, when you're running stingers, that's going to be a trade you'll take on any day.
Well, and Riley said, listen, there might be question marks about whether or not I as the Sova should use this weapon, but I definitely will get the frags with it, as it is going to be the man advantage once again here for the attackers, as well as this weapon advantage, to be fair. And Zero found out not only the camera, but Zeke taken out, as now the A site is wide open for business once more. And in a 2-on-4, what realistically can we see from these two defenders?
I mean, I think if you're Viagar, just keep your Phantom. It's the only good gun that you really got. The Spectre from Symbols isn't the biggest loss, and they're about to be running right in to this Vandal any second. There it is. Yeah, that's just not going to work. They're going to be able to cover all angles because they have so many people. So your Viagar, just run away. It's not worth it. It's actually not Viagar. Now it's Symbols. So you actually do lose the best gun on the field. So maybe not for Symbols you just run in because you do have full armor, but you could just try to save it so you don't have to buy that next round. I'm not sure. I think either way you're going to be facing a lot of enemies very soon because they're probably going to realize you're not approaching them, so they're going to try to track you down.
Well, look at where... I thought Cypher was actually in mid. My apologies. I got scared there for just a moment. Thought the Cypher might be on the flank. No, not to be. Symbols should ideally get out with this. Yeah, no need to be taking that fight. Oh, like you said, though, and especially the fact that you don't get as much cash as well makes it imperative that you don't lose that weapon there after that round. And so, all of that being said, we are into a interesting position. It is 6-3, and there's 3 rounds left in this half.
It's interesting indeed. This is the round that they really need to win on the side of Boise State too, to be able to get into a position where maybe they can tie things up going into the half. They do have an operator online once again, so Jazake has to win the duel or at least get that opening frag immediately. Looks like they're playing on B, where I feel like they've actually had the least success. I feel like they've been most successful on A, but they decided to leave the Cypher there instead. There's going to be the first shot, but I think that was from Riley all the way on C long, and they left the spike behind. I really like that play. Again, they're just playing for default on the side of the attackers, and that way no one who dies early is going to have the main point of what you're playing for out of position for them.
In all fairness to Jazake, they really haven't been playing mid, giving them any types of opportunities to kill people with the operator. That being said, though, Riley does have an opportunity and takes it. Taking down Jabal, another big fragger like we were talking about. Bayv has done a great job of getting themselves into into the position. And oh my goodness, Zero. This is a fake, by the way. This is all a fake. It doesn't matter. It's just a fake. And they have gotten all the way onto C with it. Hook, line, and sinker. That was an incredible push coming through from California State.
I really wish we had a replay of that, because that was the collateral kill right there. That was 3 kills, and what you called it purposely, that was a fake. Zero was the only one on A, and someone was able to get 3 kills there. That is, I mean, that's the potential of Reyna. She doesn't have as much of that usually in those big fights. I feel like especially if there are already players from Boise State actually on the point. You saw that they were trying to re-enter onto A, which I think was a bit of a miscue there, unfortunately, but that's going to be the lead guaranteed to Dominguez Hills. We've already seen the situation where they ended up going, I believe it was 9-3 when all things were said and done, and they could be at that exact same score. It was actually 8-4 if I'm being correct.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. And honestly, I'm still flabbergasted that it got 3 on that one. But we are into the next round, and it is a 1-for-1 trade over towards the garden, the grass area. Riley does find Jaza Q, but Symbol's back for more over towards long. Does pay for it with most of their life. 8 HP left on that player, as well. It's looking as if it should potentially be an A hit, at least by the setup. But with a minute left, honestly, wouldn't be surprised to see California State just wait this out.
See what they do. I mean, C is completely open right now, or at least it was for a second. It looks like that Breach is roaming in garage, but that is the most open point. And that's where the Omen is looking right now. But the spike is actually going to be in Riley's hands, and that's a great aggressive rotation. Now the spike is down, and for the first time, what it feels like forever, Dominguez Hills finding themselves at a disadvantage.
Well, that disadvantage is short-lived.
Has to curse.
Yeah, for just a moment. Though that being said, it's still the spike in a very, very tough spot. The guard still on the defense, swinging in though is Zero and able to dismiss away. That again, the power of the Reyna in the 1v1s, and now it's gonna be onto one mad bad dog potentially on the rotate, but no, it looks as if the Breach moving the other way. But with just 8 HP, what can Symbols even do here?
Yeah, I mean, nothing. They don't have Rolling Thunder. That pretty much makes it impossible. At this point, you're just trying to flash someone and immediately get the headshot, but you're going to be running into 2 different angles that's being covered, and you don't turn around, you don't check your corners, and yeah, if they had a full health pool, that could have been a very different story. But that was just, you know, you go for the play, and unfortunately, it does not work out in your favor. There isn't much else that can be said about that, and luckily for you, at least, it doesn't reset your economy too badly, as you can still buy. But there are some players on your team that are going to have to go for a bit of a light buy. Zeke in particular, who has actually now become the top fragger just by 1, is going to have to go for the Bulldog.
Yeah, and in general, we are seeing some huge step-ups, particularly on the side of California State. We see Zero having a great game right now. Riley as well was up there, but Jabal trying to say, listen, not the only rated player on the field. I'm here too, and I will get these frags. Picks up the first, giving him an advantage. Now over to the defense, something we've not yet seen for Boise State in the last couple. Definitely could give them a great opportunity as they are trying to rotate effectively towards this A site, because that is where the spike is headed. The information, I presume, gained by a camera. Didn't quite see it, but this is, once again, one mad bad dog playing the flank, doing it perfectly, and now getting onto the site with the rest of the team. It's still 3v3, though, so all things considered, not really that big a deal, as the defense certainly could find it. But oh, what a shot through the dark cover, through the wall, headshot straight into the Cypress noggin. Is now the spike able to get planted down, and there's 2 players sitting around the corner. That owl drone spots both of them as well as getting the tag. So the Hunter Fury comes in. The first already down. Jaws IQ though getting aggressive. That's a bit of a problem. Now tag down low though. Riley pushes in. Easy does it and closes it out. It is 9-3. So they improve their first half scoreline to California State.
They do indeed. It's only one extra round, but it's also one round that puts you even closer to finishing out this series very strongly. If they could run the gambit and get 4 more in a row, that's going to be a very nice scoreline going into bedtime, which I don't know if they're going to be going to bedtime yet on the West Coast, but here on the East Coast, I know I'm starting to feel a bit tired, but I mean, you can't if you're Dominguez Hills. You got to keep this energy going. You got to keep it running through. We talked about how the lead did kind of fluctuate at one point back to Boise State in that last map. So far, we haven't seen that come out, but this was where Boise State did step up a little bit after the swap. They were able to get a few rounds in a row, and then Dominguez Hills himself put the battle back into it. So it's not over till it's over. But right now, I mean, Zero really stepping up for their team. You noticed it, I'm noticing it, but also, I mean, one Mad Bad Dog as well. So the top fraggers from the last map, they're doing well on the side of Dominguez Hills, but it's great to see different teammates be able to do well on different points of the game.
Yeah, it was Baby and Riley really topping out the leaderboards for the last time. No, of course, nobody really doing poorly, to be fair. It's now this push coming through. One Mad Bad Dog going to win out that fight, moving on Omen action, working in his favor. It's now the right click. Oh, that's disgusting stuff from Symbols. They want to pick that frag up. It is still a man disadvantage, though, for Boise State 2, as Symbols has to get aggressive, doing just that, working out, but it is just trades. As one Mad Bad Dog swings around, it's frags for quite a few, and 3 for one Mad Bad Dog, as that is a pistol round in the books. Solid stuff there to pick up the 10th California State.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was in fact a 3K for one Mad Bad Dog. So great stuff there from the front. Now they are now the top fragger in the lobby, so taking that spot from Zero just a little bit. And it's always interesting to see characters that you don't expect to frag out. I mean, like controllers, especially like an Omen. Usually see them as someone who plays a bit more passively because their abilities are very important for re-engaging points, even if you're down a member or two. But I mean, if you're finding the kills, doesn't matter really who you're playing on. And right now, with 3 more rounds to go before this is over for Dominguez Hills, they're not going to care who's getting them. They just want to get those kills quick and easy.
Yeah, and a bit of a half investment, actually, interestingly enough. Not fully invested, but, well, that is a very nice shot. Symbols going down early on. It does net some control over here. Up close and personal with that Marshall is not the ideal place to be using it. Zeke recovers that weapon, now trying to do the same. Now, not going to work out, so that up close and personal stuff still not working out. Bald now trying to do the meme with the knife, and Riley says, all right, dude, we'll take the 1v1, but I'll win it anyway.
And we'll go mano-y-mano, and I am the one who's going to come out. And in the chat, we're seeing honor duel. I respect it. So Riley giving some kudos to their opponent in that one. But I mean, like, I think the biggest thing was that Jazaki just went a bit too close to the sun. I mean, when you got the Marshall, you should really be playing back. You can't out-duel a Spectre at close range like that. And like you said, it was a bit of a commitment. They still can buy. Some of them will have light armor, but this is going to be a bonus round for Boise State 2. And at this point, you're just avoiding overtime because like if you give it one more round, that's the best you can do. If you can win 9 rounds in a row somehow, you'll go to overtime, but then there's no guaranteed winner.
Absolutely. That's great job opening things up, though. A 2-for-1 deal. You're not going to be hating that one if you're Boise State 2. And in fact, knows that one player, i.e. the Cypher, going to be over there, tacked down to just 35 HP as well with a Stinger in hand. So not ideal weaponry, but it looks like they're going to be evacuating that area for the time being as one more frag is picked up. So this is a bonus round, to be fair, Jack, but a really nice one so far from the offense of Boise State.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is like they're winning pretty decisively so far. If they lose no one else, that's going to be a big win for them in their economy. They've only lost 1 so far, and they don't lose Jabal there, and Jabal not going to be able to heal up. So now it's just a very weak Cypher on the side of Dominguez Hills. So this is a big win. And as if you win the next round, and you get that momentum going, and the train leaves the station, you can just keep winning over and over again. This series can immediately swing back into your favor. It's still a very big hill to climb, but winning rounds like this help you get there a bit easier.
yeah, a big hill, a long road, tall mountain, whatever you want to say.
All the
it's certainly-
analogies.
Yeah, exactly. It's certainly going to be difficult. And well, that's so unfortunate. Like Gabar is just like, dude, can I please just play the video game? I'm just getting stun locked out here. Man, that is unfortunate, but expected considering the weaponry advantage available. So now a nice round there as we move into the 16th of the game. We are seeing a rebuy though.
Yep, and this is like really the round that matters the most, because if Boise State loses this, it's almost guaranteed to be game over unless they can have the thrifty round of the century, which we have not seen them be able to have thus far. I think the one thing to note though is that there is actually a Spectre on the side of Dominguez Hills, so that's the one area where they might be lacking a little bit in firepower, but other than that, it is going to be full buys all around. So this might be the penultimate round if it's won here for Dominguez Hills, but it feels like the final round.
I mean, it certainly does, considering the amount of rounds between these two teams at the moment. That being said, you're never out of it until it is 13. Like you mentioned earlier, it definitely is always able to be come back from. I've seen some incredible comebacks in my time casting the Valorant. So I know better than to count out a team before we see that that victory screen. So looking to be maybe pushing B right here. Not something we've really seen all that often, but has been already done once on this half for the attackers. Boise State too. Baby does try to get aggressive, gets tagged a little bit. Zero wins the fight elsewhere, and that's a nice shock dart from Riley. The curveball, good, meets its target. Now it's just one. You said it seemed as if it was the final round. It's looking dire right now for the Rain, or rather for the Omen. My apologies, and it was 12-4 now. California State have match point.
And there was a great win condition there. And it was the Symbols staying alive, being able to use that Rolling Thunder to get onto a point, or maybe they just go onto a point and use it after for the recontest. Fortunately, who dies first? It's Symbols. There's your main ultimate offline, and you do have it now. And you got to go for this kind of weird hybrid buy because this is all or nothing. So Jazuke does have enough for the op, and there's going to be a lot of other guns online. But I mean, there's ultimates, there's a will, there's a way. And I think they just have to execute a little bit better on their attack, and that Rolling Thunder is the first thing that has to come out if they're going to do so.
Yeah, we talked about it not necessarily finding as much value as we would have liked on the first map. Now is the opportunity to change that. Be the difference maker, be the changer. As Bayv gets into the backline, though, misses a shot. That does make things a little bit more difficult. Looks like is going to be able to get out of there, though. He gets help from the teammates. There it comes through, with the flash coming through as well. Now, curveball is in. Blinds up one, but the second, he's not quite ready for it. So Symbol stays alive, and it is a 1-for-1 trade as Jabald, because of that rotation, able to find their way onto the A site, but it is very short-lived over there. One bad dog, and the entirety of the defense just rotating quickly, as now it's a mad dash for C.
It is a mad dash, and Jazuke does have that operator, but just missing that shot. There's the Rolling Thunder. Finally going to be coming out, and now they're going to be able to take over this point, but there's going to be someone in the garage. They just spam it down for a second, but one mad bad dog has been one bad dude. They do get traded out, but it is still going to be in their favor. The spike still hasn't been planted, and that operator is now down.
Getting tagged as well makes things a little bit more difficult. They know exactly where Symbols is. It's 1-on-3. Here's the player, but it's a double peek, and not going to be whipping those shots are any California State Dominguez Hills players. So they close things out 13-4. Dominant fashion here in the second map, Jack.
Absolutely. A bit more dominant than on our first one, but they get the job done nonetheless both times around. And you know, this time around, they didn't give up that lead. We saw before after the swap that they kind of gave up their momentum a little bit. Their rhythm wasn't as in sync, and then they had to refine that groove later on. This time, it was never out of question besides one bonus round. That was it, and everything else was all music for Dominguez Hills. So now going to be moving up to 2-1 on the season. Boise State 2. They're still trying to find their first win of season 0, but I mean, they played well at certain times. I think the biggest thing is, we talked about it a lot, but the Reyna finding value. Jabal did pop off in this match. They were the top fragger on their team and top 3 in the lobby, but it was a short-lived match. Not as many rounds as you'd see normally. So maybe if that went on a little bit longer, they could extend that to have a positive KD later on. But I think the biggest thing is we talked about it a lot was being decisive and using your ultimates quickly and using them at the right time. We did see a Rolling Thunder come out at the very end, but it just seemed a bit too late, and they didn't clear out Garage, so that operator was taken offline. Jazuke playing a bit too close to the sun. I'm really surprised they were taken off by the flank. And then at the end of the day, Symbol is just getting pincered at the very end. There's nothing you can do there.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of unfortunate circumstances coming together on a couple of those rounds, but in general, like you said, the decision making just not quite quick enough. And to be fair, Boise State too, they are in a tough division. I mean, we got a lot of very good teams here, and these guys, no slouches at all. Definitely, we saw shooting good shots, able to take advantage of a couple of great situations. But at the end of the day, California State just able to be that much better, that much further ahead, and so just pushed it over. So, final thoughts here, Jag. Do you have an MVP thought of a candidate here that you want to talk about before we get moving?
I'm gonna give it to Riley. Riley did wasn't as dominant on the second map. They were 3rd on their team and 5th in the lobby overall, but I think that Odin really set the tone on Ascent. I think that was a big part of why they won that matchup and why the gap started to get a bit farther as that map went on. And going into this one, they had a lot of momentum. So I think Riley deserves a shout out. As much as I hate the Odin, I really don't like it. And I think another thing is that Dominguez Hills, they were able to get a bit of revenge on Boise State because, as we talked about, Boise State 2 and Boise State 1 are both in the Champions Division, are top tier here at NECC. So like you said, not slouches at all, but they lost to Boise State 1 last week. Now they're able to get a win over Boise State 2. So a little bit more momentum for them going forward.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Riley had a great game overall, a great matchup. But with all of that said, it's about time for us to get going. It's been a long day of matches, and it's been an exciting one as well. Thanks so much for everybody who has tuned in. It's been a great time. But with all of that said, we're going to have to get out of here. We will see you next week, or, well, maybe even tomorrow on the NECC channel. So don't forget to tune in, drop a follow. Either way, you guys have a wonderful evening and good night.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch it.